Naruto spent the rest of morning and into the early afternoon just making explosive tags. The slot in his hip pouch allowed him to hold up to 50, so he made damn sure he had 50 on him. Those tags would have come in extremely handy against Jorogumo, and he'd be damned if he was ever caught without them again. He'd even gained a couple levels in Fuinjutsu for his troubles. Anyway, with that work done, it was time to seek out his friends Shikamaru and Choji. He had some training to do and they were going to help. Naruto actually had to search for Shikamaru for a change. He was neither at home or any of his favorite cloud watching spots. So it was much to Naruto's surprise to find him at the KSA obstacle course with Choji. "Yo, I've been looking all over for you guys," shouted Naruto, running to join his compatriots. "Yeah, well, I had some time to think after passing the test yesterday," started Shikamaru. "My techniques are great for support, always have been. The problem is I'm usually a sitting duck until I can catch someone. I decided that I'm going to focus on my dexterity for a while, see how it goes." "Wow, you're not being lazy," said Naruto in surprise. "What about you, Choji?" "Well, Shikamaru came to me this morning and talked to me about what I'll probably be doing on any team I join. If he's right in him, Ino and I end up on a team together, that means I'm going to have to be the one taking most of the hits to protect them while they use their jutsu. So I need to get tougher and stronger. He's had me running laps all morning, and when my legs get tired he has me doing push-ups and sit-ups. I'm so hungry now, I think I might be starving to death already," explained the obviously exhausted young man. "Wow again. That's awesome guys," said Naruto. "What about you? Where have you been all day?" asked Shikamaru. "I thought you would have been here early this morning." "Well, some stuff happened last night and I had to go see the old man this morning after I took my registration picture." "Did you tell him?" asked Shikamaru, earning a curious look from Choji. "Yeah, I did, kind of had to after last night." "How'd he take it?" "Take what?" asked Choji, finally having enough. "What are you guys talking about? I know there's some big secret between you guys, but it's really not cool to talk around it like that in front of me." "You're right, Choji, sorry," said Shikamaru. "You're right," Naruto mimicked. I guess a bunch of secrets. Some of them I learned last night, but there is one I told Shikamaru about a while ago and he's been helping me figure it out. And you're my friend too, so I guess I should tell you about it too, but it's pretty unbelievable." "Really?" asked Shikamaru and Choji at the same time, but for entirely different reasons. "Really?" said Naruto. He then proceeded to lay it for Choji, the whole gamer thing and everything that went along with it. "Wow," said Choji when he finished. "I mean wow, is this all true?" "Near as I can tell," said Shikamaru. "So is it a bloodline or something?" asked Choji. "Something else. I told the Hokage about it last night and he said it's definitely not an Uzumaki bloodline trait. He's never heard of anything like it before." "So does that mean you can create a gaming party and stuff?" asked Choji. Naruto was surprised by the question. I have no idea." "Troublesome, Naruto, your ability is totally troublesome," groused Shikamaru. "Why don't you give it a try?" "Party?" asked Naruto aloud, but nothing happened. "Form party, create party, try team," suggested Choji. "Team, form team, you have formed a team." "Hey, that worked," said Naruto. "Invite Akamichi Choji." "Whoa, that is weird," gasped Choji. Naruto grinned. "Invite Nara Shikamaru." "Troublesome," said Shikamaru, moving his hand to tap the accept invite button hovering in the air above him. Choji, seeing Shikamaru move, did the same and tapped the accept invite with his hand. "So what do you guys see?" asked Naruto, eager for some feedback. "Uzumaki Naruto," read Choji, squinting his eyes at the air above Naruto's head. "The gamer, LV15. Yes, it works, try saying status," encouraged Naruto. "Status," said Choji, not sure what he'd get. The large orange window popping up in front of his face was not what he expected. Meanwhile, Shikamaru seemed to be wordlessly flying through the various information pages, something he'd seen Naruto do several times, but at least now he knew what to expect. "This is so cool," whispered Choji. "This is troublesome," said Shikamaru, but a small grin made its way onto his face anyway. Naruto couldn't help laughing like a loon, he was so excited about the whole thing. Finally his friends could see what he was living with. "So, Naruto," began Shikamaru. "Level 15 huh? When did that happen? Because I swear you told me you were at level 12 going into the test yesterday." "Oh man, you would not believe the shit that went down last night," said Naruto, only too excited to tell the guys everything he'd learned minus a few key details such as him containing the Kyuubi. Almost an hour later Naruto finished relaying his story to his friends including his conversation with the old man minus the Jinchuriki details as he'd planned to take that secret to his grave. So Mizuki-sensei was a traitor? Asked Choji for probably the 10th time since he'd found out. Yep, said Naruto. There's one thing I don't get, you seem to have glossed over a lot of details, like why Mizuki chose you for it, and the conversation between Iruka and Mizuki and why your status shows some updates. Naruto blanched. I didn't really want to talk about that. Well, no point hiding now, said Shikamaru. Besides you're our friend, I hope you still feel that way after I tell you what that's all about. Naruto took a deep breath and began explaining about his mother and the Uzumaki and the details of a Jinchuriki. Wow, said Choji. That fucking blows. Tell me about it, groused Naruto. But you guys are okay, right? You're still my friends. Moron. Of course we are, said Shikamaru. This just makes you a bit more troublesome. And it explains why you have so many hated reputations in the village. Yeah, that was a hard one to accept. I guess a lot of them see me as the Kyuubi and not the one keeping it prisoner, replied Naruto, a bit morosely. Well, now what? Asked Choji. I want to check out that training field, said Shikamaru. Let's see what happens if we go back there. I was hoping you guys would want to go check it out, said Naruto, his happy, eager personality back to normal with just those few words. Could be fun, said Choji, shrugging. Oh, but before we go, have either of you guys got some explosive tags? I've got 10 tags on me, said Choji. I don't really carry them on me, why? Asked Shikamaru. Naruto quickly opened his inventory and took 25 of his out and handed them to Shikamaru. If that field, dungeon, whatever has reset then you'll want them. I was lucky as hell to get out of there alive yesterday. I think I'm having second thoughts, said Choji, hearing Naruto's near-death experience with the whole mess. Hey, I was able to solo it yesterday. With 3 of us it should be a walk in the park, said Naruto, trying to assuage his friend's fears. Come on, Choji, we can always just leave, offered Shikamaru, actually trying to encourage his friend to go along. Alright, but if I die, I swear I will haunt you both. That settles it, Choji lives at all costs. I don't like ghosts, said Naruto, getting the other 2 to laugh happily. It's not funny, I'm being serious. Naruto led the group to training ground 13 easily enough and even got the warning when he entered but with one minor difference. Training field 13, a heavily forested area populated with a large number of chakra spiders. Recommended level, 12, 56 hours 12 minutes and 41 seconds, 95. The timer was new and counting down. Ah, I think it's got a reset timer on. It won't be up again for a few days. I can see the warning, Naruto, said Shikamaru with a sigh. What about going to training field 11 or 12 then? They aren't too far from here. Asked Choji. I'm game, said Shikamaru. Sure, lead the way, Choji, said Naruto. Not much later they entered an open field with a few scattered trees and bushes. Training field 11, an open field with sparsely populated trees and shrubbery but plenty of tall grass obscuring a great deal of chakra rodents. Recommended level, 10. Okay, did you all see that warning too? Yeah, so probably going to have chakra rats, maybe some rabbit and squirrels, said Shikamaru. I hate chakra squirrels, said Choji. Those nuts they throw hurt like hell. Occasionally some of those little bastards get into my uncle's almond farm and have to be cleared out. It's not fun. Let's just see what we get, said Naruto, just as he felt something bite down hard on the back of his ankle. Ow, you little fucker, howled Naruto, quickly pulling a kunai and driving it down into the head of the rat that just bit him. Why do they always go for the freaking ankles like that? Hey, it says I got express for that, said Choji, his finger following blue letters as the float up and disappeared. Meanwhile, Naruto had killed 4 more of the rats before they could sneak up on him or the others again. Don't just stand there you dopes, get to killing these punks. And so the slaughter began, rat after rat perished as they came one after the other. Then came rat kings, then queens. They came and didn't stop coming, wave after wave of rat before it suddenly calmed. Okay, this is usually where the boss shows up, said Naruto, taking up a defensive stance. Choji and Shikamaru mimicked Naruto taking up defensive stances near him. It started as just a light tremor shaking the ground then quickly grew until it was difficult to keep their feet under them. Finally, about 10 meters ahead of them, the ground burst open and a giant rat appeared. It was far and away the ugliest rat Naruto had ever seen. It had horrible growths all over its body, patches of skill that were torn away to show flesh and bone. And the stink from it was absolutely awful. Chakra Rat Abomination LVL 13. HP, 1200 CP, 500 500ths. The rare abomination, a chakra mutated creature so far gone it has taken to eating its own kind. They are often drawn out when their food source is threatened. Is that normal? Asked Choji. For my life, yes it is, said Naruto. You guys ready? Not really, but let's kill it anyway, said Shikamaru. Tell me what to do, Shikamaru, said Choji. I'll try to hold it still for a minute, you two do as much damage as you can, said Shikamaru, already his shadow stretching across the ground toward the big ugly beast. Naruto grinned, pulling out his recently made stack of explosive tags. Chakra Sprint activated. He moved forward rapidly and began sticking tag after tag on the beast's body while Choji was preparing his own jutsu. Baiken no Jutsu, called Choji, his body suddenly ballooning. Then he called out, Nikuden Sensha, and started to spin rapidly with kunai draped around him, making him look like a hedgehog on steroids. Naruto jumped clear and Choji suddenly took off toward the rat. Just as Choji got to it, the shadow holding it vanished, allowing Choji to hit it full power to the face and shoulder, grinding into the beast, tearing away flesh, fur and blood alike. Eventually the rat fell over and Choji rolled over it, coming to stop just meters away. Naruto used the opportunity of the rat being down to activate the explosive tags. Katsu. The series of explosions that followed was fairly impressive, especially when one had a critical detonation, blowing the head of the rat clean off and showering the field with paste. That was awesome, crowed Naruto excitedly. That was overkill, said Shikamaru. Teamwork S level has increased by 1. Teamwork S level has increased by 1. Your teammate Nara Shikamaru's level has increased by 1. Your teammate Akamichi Choji's level has increased by 1. Congrats on the levels, guys, said Naruto, happy for his friends. He turned his focus on the decomposing body to see what kind of loot might drop on this guy. 1500 Ryo. That was it. That was the whole drop from the rat. Naruto groaned in annoyance and split the money equally, taking his 500, then handing Choji and Shikamaru each their 500. What's this? Asked Choji. The loot, answered Naruto. These things give loot. Money? Asked Choji, wide-eyed with surprise. Yeah, not sure why, but I'm not going to question it. Money is money. Thanks, said Choji before looking to see Shikamaru staring hard at something in the air in front of him. Hey, Shika, what are you looking at? I'm debating what to spend my stat points on, said Shikamaru. Stat points? You mean we can spend them ourselves? So it seems, said Shikamaru. I doubt we'd be able to do the same if we weren't teamed with Naruto. Choji quickly opened his own status page. Choji, you should increase your dex, try to even your stats out a bit, suggested Shikamaru. What are you doing? I'm also trying to increase my dex, make myself a bit more mobile in combat. I need more VIT and int, but I can get that through training, so can you, by the way. Especially if we do it while in a group like this, cause then Naruto's game experience applies to us and our stats too. We can both pick up around 14 points in almost everything. Really? That's kind of cool, said Choji, following Shikamaru's advice and upping his dex. So, do you want to try a different training field? This one was kind of crappy. It might have been crappy, but it was a good learning experience for me and Choji, said Shikamaru. It got us some good exposure to what we can expect if we team up with you in the future to clear more of these. I think we should probably train more, get me and Choji to our level stat cap and then go from there. You need some too, don't you? You did gain 3 levels yesterday, right? I'm good for whatever, said Naruto, grinning. One gives me more levels which makes me stronger, the other gives me more stats which also makes me stronger. It's win-win. Right then, let's get back to the KSA training field, said Shikamaru, leading the group away. You have slept in your bed. HP and CP are fully stored. Naruto, Shikamaru, and Choji all trained together every day that week leading up to the team assignments. It was the KSA training field daily from start to finish and working heavily on their skills while resting physically. Naruto had actually capped a few skills again. Chakra Sprint active LV max CP 20. Using chakra to reinforce your leg muscles to grant you a quick burst of speed. Additional +40 to run speed when active. Trap passive LV max. Traps are an essential skill to any shinobi. They are used to surprise and confuse enemies and friends alike depending on the situation. They can be used both for fun and for slaughter equally well. Passively increases trap effectiveness 20%. Passively increases trap damage 20%. Passively increases trap placement 20%. Sadly, Naruto didn't find himself working much on the two kinjutsu he learned despite being really excited to work on them. He just didn't have time with all the training he was doing with his friends. Sadly, they didn't run any more training grounds either, much to Naruto's irritation. Really, both of them left Naruto feeling a bit miffed. He'd hit his cap in just 2 days but stuck it out longer with them to get their points instead of clearing training fields for experience and levels. The biggest change though was the changes to Shikamaru's status, Lazy Genius. It changed to now read as simply, Genius, taking away the -1 to Dex, STR, VIT and doubling his WIS gain per level. As if that wasn't enough, it all gave him plus 25% experience gain to all skills. It really kind of pissed Naruto off a bit. Choji had worked hard and was shocked by how much he improved in just 1 week while teamed up with Naruto. It shouldn't have been physically possible, but there it was. He was stronger, faster, and more skilled than he had been at the start of the week. On the positive side, Naruto did get into the library and checked out a few books on elemental chakras so he could attempt to learn the answer to the old man's questions. However, while he was there, he'd found several fuinjutsu formulas that he could learn. He did find a bit of cheat in that regard. He discovered that if he took his time to read the book he would learn the skill and not destroy the book itself, but apparently that only worked with formulas, like for cooking and fuinjutsu. Yeah, it slowed things down, but it worked just fine. He'd also taken the time to place the various fuin on his gear to improve them, which was actually pretty cool. Still, he was now ready for team assignments, at least as ready as he could be all things considered. So here he was, checking various classmates' level notices above their heads, most of which had gotten stronger, even in just the week since graduation. Naruto was a little disappointed to see Sakura hadn't leveled up at all, in probably over a month. Naturally, Sasuke was a lot stronger, which honestly pissed him off even more. Still, other than Sasuke, Naruto was tied for highest level in class with Shino. Iruka came into class. He still had some bandages from his injuries the week before but looked considerably better than the last time Naruto had seen him. Congratulations to all of you for making it to this point. After today, you will all begin your first real steps into life as a shinobi for Konoha. I expect all of you to serve with pride and honor. Trust your comrades, protect them and let them protect you equally. Today, all of you will be placed into 3-man teams with a Junin sensei. Please listen closely for your name and the names of your teammates. Naruto listened as Iruka assigned the various teams. So far it was all the student below level 9 getting assigned together, which Naruto thought was a bit odd. Then his name was called. Team 7, Uzumaki Naruto, Haruno Sakura, and Uchiha Sasuke, he called out. Naruto's head hit his desk with a loud thump. Sakura borderline hated him despite his best efforts to befriend her. Sasuke tolerated him but was a prick. It was not cool. Team 8, Hyuga Hinata, Aburame Shino, and Inuzuka Kiba, called Iruka. Now that caught Naruto's attention. 3 members of popular clans in the same team, but more importantly, all of them were above level 9. Team 9 ended up with 3 students below level 9 again, and then he called Team 10. Team 10, Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji, and Yamanaka Ino. That settled it. In Naruto's mind, these teams were fixed for some reason. It was clear to Naruto that 3 of these teams heavily overpowered the other 7 teams. But why, and did Shikamaru see the same thing he just did? If he did, Naruto didn't have a chance to ask when a large bear of a man entered the classroom. Team 10, you're with me, he ordered, somehow balancing an unlit cigarette at the corner of his mouth when he spoke. Shikamaru groused as usual but followed Choji and Ino out of the room to follow their teacher. The sensei for Team 1, 4, and 9 came next, taking their students. Team 8, please come with me, said another Junin, this one a beautiful woman with exotic red eyes. Naruto watched as all of the other students were claimed by their various teachers until only himself, Sasuke, and Sakura remained along with Iruka, who was busy cleaning up his desk. Oh, Naruto, before I forget, the Hokage wants to see you after you meet your new sensei, said Iruka, putting away the last of his papers and standing to leave. Okay Iruka sensei, said Naruto. Thanks. No problem, see you all around, he said, finally leaving. Why is our sensei so late? Complained Sakura. Naruto shrugged. Maybe he's coming from a mission or something, he suggested. I wasn't asking you, Naruto, snapped Sakura. Naruto felt a bit deflated. You don't have to be so mean to me. We're a team now, which means we have to work together and get along, he said, pouting the whole time. Just don't get in my way, said Sasuke coldly. Yeah, don't get in our way, echoed Sakura. That goes especially for you, said Sasuke, glaring at Sakura. You're even weaker than he is. Dude, not cool, said Naruto. I get you're a badass, but you don't have to be an ass too. Grunted Sasuke, turning away from them to look out the window. Naruto decided now would be a good time to use observe on his teammates. Name: Uchiha Sasuke. Title: Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level: LV19 next level, 12.45%. Affiliation: Konoha. HP: 700/700ths. CP: 740/740ths. STR: 45. VIT: 70. Dex: 76. Int: 74. Wis: 46. Luck: 1. Status: Unawakened Sharingan plus 2 Dex and plus 3 Int and plus 1 Wis per level. Avenger plus 25% to all stats when attacking Uchiha Itachi. Firebug minus 15% cost to Kaden Jutsu, plus 10 damage to Kaden Jutsu. Uchiha Sasuke is the last loyal surviving member of the infamous Uchiha clan. Well known for their Dujutsu, the Sharingan, which has allowed them to excel as shinobi in the field. His past is clouded by the pain and misery of losing his family so much that vengeance is all that remains to him. Name: Haruno Sakura. Title: Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level: LV9 next level, 84.56. HP: 300/300ths. CP: 250/250ths. STR: 10. VIT: 30. Dex: 20. Int: 100. Wis: 150. Luck: 8. Status: Perfect Control plus 15 Wis per level, minus 50% cost to all Jutsu. Fangirl minus 25% decrease to experience gain, minus 50% decrease to bonus stat gain. Book Smart plus 10 Int per level, minus 75% CP, plus 25% increase to skill experience. Haruno Sakura is the smartest student in class. Though very intelligent, she is not very physically gifted. She pines after Uchiha Sasuke and is bitter rivals with Yamanaka Ino for Sasuke-kun's affections. No matter how much he wishes he could deny it, Sasuke is strong, really strong, stronger than Tenten, who easily kicked his ass all those months ago. On the flip side of that was Sakura, who no matter how much he wishes he could deny it, she was weak, really weak. She clearly didn't take training very seriously. And that damned fangirl status was going to be the biggest detriment to her getting any better. But that brought up a whole new question. How the hell could he cure her of it? Could he even cure her of it? Naruto let all that go for the moment. His sensei should be arriving any minute now. However, when any minute now turned into another hour, all bets were off. That's it, this guy is getting pranked, said Naruto loudly, his boiling point finally reached. Sakura, have you got any glitter? What? Why would have any glitter? What kind of question is that? She demanded, clearly acting affronted. I'll take that as a yes, can I have some of it? He requested, holding a hand out to her. Sakura frowned before reaching into her hip pouch and producing a small glass bottle filled with the sparkly crap. I was saving this for. Quote, I won't use all of it, I only need a little, explained Naruto, taking the bottle. Naruto then walked to the chalkboard and grabbed an eraser. He then ran the eraser down the ledge, picking up as much chalk dust as he could. Walking to the door next, Naruto pulled a chair up next to it and proceeded to wedge the eraser in the door. Naruto then opened the glitter bottle ever so carefully so as to not get any on himself and poured a little of the stuff on top of the eraser. Task done, Naruto recapped the bottle and returned it to Sakura before taking his seat again, feeling very self-satisfied. You know that won't work on him, right? I mean, he is a Junin, said Sakura, looking on skeptically. Maybe, but I'd bet it's more likely to succeed given he won't expect something so rudimentary, argued Naruto. Sakura narrowed her eyes at Naruto. Fine, what's the bet? Naruto blinked several times in surprise. He hadn't expected Sakura to actually make a bet out of it. Really? You want to bet me? Okay, let's see. Ah, I got it. You have to train with me on training field 11 this afternoon, after I meet with the old man. And if I win, you can never ask me on a date ever again, said Sakura, feeling some satisfaction at the possibility of getting him to leave her alone. Deal, said Naruto, offering his hand to her. Sakura shook his hand, then sat back to wait and watch with eager anticipation. Unfortunately, that eager anticipation faded after another hour of waiting. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I hope I lose the bet, said Sakura, earning a laugh from Naruto. The sliding of the door snapped Naruto's attention to the door, where a man with gravity-defying gray hair had stuck his head in just in time to see the eraser hit his head and explode in a puff of chalk and glitter. Naruto grinned victoriously. My first impression is that I really hate you guys. Is that glitter? He asked as an afterthought. Yep, said Naruto. Don't be late again, it will only escalate from here. I might kill, he said, trying to brush out the chalk and glitter with his hand only to cause it to spread instead. Anyway, meet me on the roof, he ordered, vanishing a moment later, leaving behind leaves and glitter. Sakura finally giggled, which soon turned into a laugh that she was joined by Naruto in. Idiots, grumbled Sasuke, standing and marching out the door. Sakura stopped laughing instantly and followed after Sasuke like a lost little puppy. Naruto stopped laughing a few moments later when he realized he was all alone in the room. He quickly ran to catch up to his teammates and join them on the roof. Up on the roof, Naruto was greeted by the sight of his sensei sitting on a railing reading a little orange book he was all too familiar with. Naruto couldn't help the smirk that appeared on his face at the sight. Take a seat, the man said without looking up from his book. Naruto and his team sat down across from the man on one of the rooftop benches. The silence was odd, the man wasn't saying anything, just occasionally turning the page of his book. After a bit of time, he finally closed his book. So, let's start with some introductions, he said. What do you want to know? Asked Sakura. Oh, likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams for the future, that kind of thing, he explained. Why don't you go first? Show us how it's done, suggested Sakura. My name is Hatake Kakashi. What I like and dislike is private. Dreams for the future, I have lots of hobbies. All we learned was he name, stated Naruto and Sakura deadpan. You go Pinky, he ordered. My name is Haruno Sakura, what I like is, she paused to look at Sasuke and giggle. My dream, she paused again and giggled harder. And dislikes, Naruto, she stated rather harshly. Seriously? Asked Naruto, looking at her disappointed. Go ahead, Blondie, said Kakashi. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I like ramen, especially ramen from Ichiraku. I don't like the 3 minutes it takes to make instant ramen or chakra rats, stupid pricks. My hobbies are pranks and training with my friends, Shikamaru and Choji. My dream is to become Hokage and have everyone acknowledge me. Okay, and last, Broody. My name is Uchiha Sasuke, what I like and don't like doesn't matter. I don't have dream, only an ambition, I will kill a certain man. I get your brother is an ass for what he did, but man, you seriously need to take a fucking pill or something. That can't be healthy, said Naruto, staring at him wide-eyed. Sasuke instantly glared at Naruto, his mouth nearly snarling. What the hell would an orphan like you know about loss? As much or more than you, shithead, growled Naruto. You at least had family, mine was killed the night I was born, leaving me with a burden you could never possibly comprehend or understand. So shut the fuck about things you don't understand. Ma, that's enough both of you, said Kakashi, placing himself slightly between them just in case. Grunted Sasuke, looking away. Naruto narrowed his eyes but resisted taunting the prick any further. Well, now that introductions are out of the way, meet me tomorrow at training field 7 at 6 a.m, we're going to do something just the 4 of us. What are we doing, sensei? Asked Sakura, still nervously glancing between Sasuke and Naruto. Survival training, he answered simply. But we did that in the academy, protested Naruto. Ah, but this time you'll have to survive against me, he replied. What? Why? Naruto all but shouted in shock and protest. Well, you're not quite genin yet, you see. There is still one more test for you to pass. What do you mean? Demanded Naruto. Yeah, what was the point of the graduation exam then? Asked Sakura. That was just to test for the potential to become genin, he replied. Anyway, see you all tomorrow morning. Oh, and don't eat breakfast, you might puke. The man then vanished, leaving behind leaves and glitter once again. What a bastard, complained Naruto, a frown marring his face. He huffed once, then turned to face Sakura. Okay, so I've got to go see the Hokage and then we can go to training field 11. What? Asked Sakura. Hell no, I'm not going anywhere with you. So you welching on our bet then? It's not like I asked you on a date, this is training, he exclaimed, more than a little annoyed. Sakura glowered. Fine, but if you hit on me even once I'm kicking you ass. Don't worry about that, now let's go. Sakura frowned again before following Naruto toward the Hokage's office. Name: Uzumaki Naruto. Class: The Gamer. Title: Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level: LV 15. Next level: 32.43%. Affiliation: Konoha. HP: 2346 2346. CP: 2161 2161. STR: 3320.30. VIT: 3628.60. Dex: 3320.30. Int: 5115.10. Wis: 336.60. Luck: Def: 11228.00. SPD: 1037.65. Status: Uzumaki plus 10 Vit, plus 10 Int, plus 50% experience to Fuinjutsu, skill, Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level. Prankster, minus 5% reputation gains, plus 5% experience to trap, skill, plus 5% experience to stealth, skill. Uzumaki Naruto is the dead last of this year's graduating class, rating so low because of his inability to create a basic bunshin. Naruto proved his worth after the test when he stopped a traitor and learned 2A ranked Kinjutsu. And finally he has gotten some answers to his past, but still mystery remains. Who is his father? How did the Kyuubi escape? Point 5. Ryo, 12,050. Professional skills. Fuinjutsu active LV8 EXP 45.00% CP, 20. A professional skill allowing you to create seals that can be used to improve your gear, make explosives or just seal stuff away for later. Kibaku Fuda Grade 1, a low-quality explosive tag. Stats: 15 to 35 explosive damage, 5 meter explosive radius. Storage Scroll Grade 1, a low-quality storage scroll. Can hold up to 20 kilograms of material. Plus 15 def to chest, improve your gear by increasing the defense provided by 15 points. Plus 30 def to chest, improve your gear by increasing the defense provided by 30 points. Plus 2 dex to forearm, improve your gear by increasing the dexterity provided by 2 points. Plus 2 wis to forearm, improve your gear by increasing the wisdom provided by 2 points. Plus 2 str to forearm, improve your gear by increasing the strength provided by 2 points. Plus 2 dex to shin, improve your gear by increasing the dexterity provided by 2 points. Plus 2 str to shin, improve your gear by increasing the strength provided by 2 points. Plus 2 wis to shin, improve your gear by increasing the wisdom provided by 2 points. Plus 10 spd to feet, improve your gear by increasing the speed provided by 10 points. Plus 20 vit to legs, improve your gear by increasing the vitality provided by 20 points. Plus 20 into legs, improve your gear by increasing the intelligence provided by 20 points. Again, ordered Naruto. You did your job, you covered my back like a teammate should, and you got some valuable experience from it. That's why fields like that exist, so we can train and get experience beyond the missions, beyond basic training. And we're a team now, I'll help you get stronger too. Sakura sniffled a few times. Thanks, Naruto, maybe you're not so annoying after all. So does that mean you'll go on a date with me? Not a chance, she said, this time hammering him in the head. So much for that goodwill, groaned Naruto, slowly picking himself up again. Serves you right, said Sakura, crossing her arms, all her worries seemed to be gone. Anyway, I'm going for food and then possibly to Higarashi's for some new gear. I don't see Kakashi-sensei taking it easy on us, said Naruto. Yeah, maybe I should get some better protection for my arms and ankles too, said Sakura. Yeah, he's got good stuff. I'll even put some enhancement Fuin on them for you if you want me to, offered Naruto. Since when do you know Fuinjutsu, let alone enhancement Fuin? It's a recent thing, but you up for it? He asked again. Yeah, I suppose, but this isn't a date, she said, trying once again to make it clear she would not be going on a date with Naruto. Sure, let's go, said Naruto, walking ahead toward Ichiraku. Sakura shook her head. Her teammate was certainly a goof, but at least he was reliable. She jogged to catch up with him a moment later. You have slept in your bed. HP and CP are fully stored. Naruto popped up from bed, ran through his morning routine before settling down to eat breakfast. It didn't take long for him to get out the door and meet up with the rest of the team. Naruto arrived a few minutes early, but still the last to arrive. Sasuke was leaning against one of the 3 training posts, looking bored. Out of his mind but not tired or sluggish. Sakura was another story. She looked a bit tired, and it was clear the day before had taken it out of her. Still, her new forearm protectors and shin protectors looked pretty slick. Naruto should know. He was with her when she picked them out, and he put the fuin on them to give her a bit more dexterity as per her request. Sadly, his attempts to convince her to get something better than a red dress fell on deaf ears. So Naruto sat on top of one of the posts and waited. And waited some more. Then waited even longer. Sakura-chan, have you got any of the glitter left? Asked Naruto. What's the plan? She asked, seemingly eager to assist him. Seeing that he's so late, even after Gigi ordered him to be on time from now on, I say we lace the field with as many traps as we can. He said we need to survive him. Well, now he can worry about surviving us, explained Naruto, grinning deviously. We'll need you to help with this, Tem. Sasuke frowned, then finally nodded his assent. Okay, so Sasuke, you and I will lay the traps. Sakura, can you map them out as we place them? Capture or kill? Asked Sasuke. Capture mostly, but you can do kill, just go non-lethal with it, like using glitter, ordered Naruto, grinning a little at the mention of glitter. Sasuke nodded and set out into the field. Naruto went the opposite direction. After an hour they regroup and went over the map Sakura put together from watching the both of them, and given that Kakashi hadn't shown up yet meant they had time to memorize it. Kakashi finally arrived at about an hour to noon, arriving in a swirl of leaves and completely avoiding the traps he didn't know were there. You're late, yelled Naruto and Sakura. Ma, you see I ran into this little old lady that need help with her groceries, he explained, not looking up from his porno. Liar, the duo replied. Prove it, he challenged them. I'm so telling Gigi you were late. I was there when he told you to be on time from now on, said Naruto. Ah, but he gave me permission to test you guys, didn't he? My arrival time is part of the test. That's why you told us not to eat, said Sakura, suddenly understanding the issue. Good job seeing underneath the underneath, praised Kakashi. Sasuke and Sakura both glowered at him. I'm still telling Gigi, he might buy your excuse, but maybe he won't. Anyway, we're burning daylight here, said Kakashi, setting an alarm clock atop one of the training posts. You have until noon to get a bell from me, or you'll be sent back to the academy. Quest alert. Make the team pass the infamous bell test. Pass Kakashi's survival test by meeting his requirements. Completion award 20,000 express. Unlock daily quests. Unlock D-rank missions. Completion failure 2,000 EXP. End shinobi career. Naruto blinked several times at the quest message. It was yet again one he could not decline as the button was grayed out. So he hit the accept button and mentally prepared for the worst. But there's only 2 bells, stated Sakura, looking at the 2 bells dangling from Kakashi's hand. So there are. I guess that means one of you will definitely be going back to the academy then, doesn't it? Naruto frowned, but rather than wait for a signal to start he quickly threw a handful of shuriken at Kakashi. Kakashi didn't even blink at seeing the shuriken heading for him. They were all off target after all. Kage Buki no Jutsu, shouted Naruto, flaring his chakra suddenly and in a great amount. Kakashi's one eye widened as suddenly the handful of shuriken became hundreds of shuriken. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the obliterated log that remained along with a few of the original shuriken. Okay, so he likes Kawarimi, we need to immobilize him. Before we can try hitting him, stated Naruto. Don't get in my way, mumbled Sasuke, going in his own direction. Moron, complained Naruto, looking to Sakura to see her gone too. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Well Naruto, seems you're on your own now, doesn't it? Asked Kakashi, leaning against one of the posts behind Naruto. Naruto instantly activated Chakra Reinforcement and Chakra Sprint to close on the Junin rapidly. Lesson 1, Taijutsu, said Kakashi, easily dodging Naruto's first swing, then kick, then uppercut almost effortlessly. He even pulled out his porno and started reading it while Naruto was attacking him. Without Naruto knowing how, the man got behind him. Senengarashi, he called, his pointed fingers shooting straight for Naruto's ass. Naruto took the jab and shot into the air only to burst into glitter and confetti. Kakashi frowned at the glitter. Do you have any idea how long it took me to get rid of that glitter yesterday? Not as long as it will today, said Naruto. This time he was behind Kakashi, ready to deliver an enema of his own to the asshole teacher. Naruto jabbed forward only to hear the loud crunch of his finger impacting with a rather sturdy log. Naruto cursed long and loud after that but regained his bearing quickly as Kakashi was now very displeased with his potential student. Naruto had to kawarimi himself several times with his clones just to prevent major damage to himself. Eventually Naruto was able to hide himself and collect his thoughts while Kakashi moved on to torment his other teammates. That was the odd thing though, Naruto had met Team Guy, a three-man cell with a Junin instructor, weird though he and his mini-clone may have been. It made this test seem a bit off. If Team Guy was a three-man team with a Junin, then why would Kakashi try to automatically eliminate at least one of them? And another thing, how was a level 15 or even a level 19 supposed to take on someone with? For a level, the answer is they can't, as Naruto just found out. It's a trick, Naruto finally mumbled aloud. Naruto finally figured it out. He was trying to divide them, pit them against each other so that they'd fail. The real objective was for them to put aside their selfishness and to operate as a team. Now to find my team, mumbled Naruto, trying to remember where they each wandered off. Naruto eventually found them. Sasuke was buried up to his neck in the ground and Sakura had fainted dead away just a few feet away from him. Stop laughing and dig me out, Dobi, demanded Sasuke. Why should I? It's not like you're going to share the bells with me. If anything, this gets you out of my way, said Naruto harshly. He had to word this carefully. He needed Sasuke to think he made the discovery of the real meaning behind the test. You didn't do any better than me, snapped Sasuke. So what? He's really powerful. He's a Junin. What did you expect? Like any one Genin can beat him. Maybe you haven't noticed, but he made the test to purposely fail us. No one can pass it. No one, mumbled Sasuke, looking thoughtful for a moment. The moment didn't last long because in the next moment he was snarling and pissed off. That no good, dirty son of bitch. I'll kill him. What's got you so worked up? Asked Naruto. It's all a Kami damn trick. That fucker did it to pit us against each other from the start, Sasuke hissed angrily. Dig me out of here, we have to all go at him at once. Finally, said Naruto, grinning as he pulled a kunai to start digging his teammate loose. You already figured it out. Then what was with all that about me being out of your way? Be honest, if I just told you, would have believed me? No, I wouldn't have, said Sasuke honestly. And I probably won't in the future. You're the Dobi for a reason, and just because you were right this one time doesn't mean you'll ever be right again. So after we try to pass this test as a team, I expect you to keep your mouth shut and stay out of my way. Naruto had to take several deep calming breaths after that little speech from the Tem. It was even more difficult to not accidentally stab him with the kunai he was using to dig him out. You're out, now you can wake up Sakura and explain to her what's happening, oh great and fearless leader, he spat sarcastically. He grunted, walking over to the girl and nudging her with his foot. Sass, Sasuke-kun, she mumbled at first before springing to her feet and hugging the boy rather suddenly. Get off, he ordered simply. Sakura, realizing what she was doing, quickly released Sasuke and took a step back from him, blushing furiously. What happened? Are you okay? Asked Sakura. We don't have time for this, we're going to work together to fight him. But why? Asked Sakura. Because it was all a trick. Now shut up and follow my orders, said Sasuke coldly. Naruto wanted very badly to punch Sasuke's lights out but refrained for the sake of the test. Sasuke laid out a very simple plan that had Naruto attack from in close while Sakura pepped the man at range, allowing Sasuke to sneak in and take the bells. Hell no, don't take this the wrong way, but that plan fucking sucks. Actually, you can take that however you want. I have no problem with going toe-to-toe with Kakashi-sensei, but asking Sakura to provide ranged support is epically stupid. She has neither the speed nor the strength for it, whereas you do, plus you have Kaden Jutsu you can use from range. Are you challenging my authority? Asked Sasuke. Fuck yes I am, You're an arrogant asshole who will take the bells only to keep them for himself if for no other reason than to try and set yourself up with just you and Kakashi getting the two of us sent back to the academy. So Sakura will take the bells, you'll provide range support and I'll keep his attention. Naruto turned and moved to attack their waiting sensei. Sakura, you will follow my orders, said Sasuke. Sakura looked doubtful for a moment. She knew that Naruto's strategy was more sound, but she also knew Sasuke would hate her for agreeing with Naruto. On the other hand, she couldn't help but feel Naruto may have been right about Sasuke trying to screw the both of them over. She also remembered that Naruto tried to help her the day before while Sasuke just told her not to get in his way. I'm sorry, Sasuke-kun. Naruto's strategy is better. He's right that I don't have the speed or strength to provide adequate ranged support. Sasuke sneered. You'll do as you're told. He then stalked off to prepare to steal the bells as per his plan. Sakura frowned but followed after to fulfill her role per Sasuke's plan. Naruto was fuming when he engaged Kakashi-sensei. From the ranged support Sakura was providing, it was clear she folded to Sasuke pressuring her. So when Naruto saw Sasuke rushing onto the field, foregoing all stealth, he was half tempted to adjust and block his path, but passing this test was more important, so he kept Kakashi's attention. Sasuke snagged the bells and kept running out the other side of the clearing. It wasn't 2 minutes later that the alarm clock rang, ending the test. Well done, you managed to get the bells, said Kakashi. So, Sasuke-kun, who will you be giving the other bell to? Neither of them deserve it. She's weak and he's stupid. They will both just slow me down as a result. They both should be sent back to the academy. I see, said Kakashi. Well then, I have some good news, none of you will be sent back to the academy. I'm ordering all 3 of you be dropped from the shinobi program permanently. What? Demanded Sasuke. I got the bells, you have to pass me. You only got the bells because Naruto and Sakura kept me distracted so you could steal the bells like a thief in the night. That was your plan the whole time, wasn't it? I watched you plan. I saw how Naruto manipulated you into realizing the true purpose of the test, then I watched as you crafted a plan to stab him and Sakura in the back all so you could have the glory. Then when Naruto called you on it, you forced your plan on Sakura, who was too afraid of hurting the feelings of the boy she's crushing on. The only one of you that deserves a chance is Naruto, but because of his age I have no choice but to force him out. Congratulations, all of you, on such a splendid display of absolute failure. Pass Sasuke and Sakura. Drop me but pass them, said Naruto, hoping that it might save them. No, pass Sasuke-kun and Naruto, they did the most, protested Sakura. Anything to say, Sasuke? Asked Kakashi, seeing the third member of the team remaining silent. Fail them both and pass me, it's pretty simple. I'm the last Uchiha, if you fail me, I'll go to the council and see you brought up on charges of negligence. Oh Sasuke, you say the silliest of things. The council doesn't give 2 shits about you. They tolerate you because of your Sharingan. They could care less if you're a shinobi or not so long as you repopulate your clan. They don't care if you kill Itachi, they never have and they never will. To them, you're just breeding stock right now, you haven't done anything yet to prove otherwise. Then damn it, pass us all. We figured out your test, we worked as a team to get the bells, that alone should be enough for you, argued Sasuke, a small chink in his armor finally exposed. I'll give you all one more chance to prove to me you deserve to be Genin, he said, then he suddenly vanished and reappeared, grabbing Naruto by the throat and slamming him into one of the training posts, dazing him a bit. He then rapidly tied Naruto to the post. Then he dropped 2 lunch boxes on the ground. We'll continue after lunch, you 2 can eat, but don't feed Naruto, or else. Naruto hacked and coughed a few times as he regained consciousness. That was some bullshit, he groaned in pain. Just shut up, said Sasuke. We wouldn't even be in this situation if you hadn't been such a selfish asshole, protested Naruto. Stop fighting, both of you, chided Sakura. This is all of our faults. How is any of this my fault? Asked Naruto. You antagonize Sasuke-kun every chance you get. It's no wonder he won't work with you. Naruto frowned. It was true he did tend to antagonize Sasuke, but the guy was a jerk and really brought it upon himself. Fine, I did antagonize him. Finally acknowledging you betters, snarked Sasuke. You stop that too, you're really good Sasuke-kun, but you don't have to rub our faces in it all the time. And the little lost puppy act you pull is so much better. You're a pathetic excuse for a kunoichi. Shut up, you ass, she's probably the smartest person in our graduating class other than Shikamaru. She's got a ton of potential, which is more than I can say for you. Yeah, you work hard and know more than the rest of us, but you're also arrogant and so hyper-focused on being an Avenger you've missed everything else that goes on around you. It makes you a pathetic excuse for a shinobi. Like you're one to talk, Dobi. Always shouting and playing games like a moron. You can't even perform a simple bunshin. I can't perform a bunshin because I have more chakra than anyone in our entire class. If you check the scores from graduation, I scored higher than you on the physical conditioning tests and just below you in weapons and taijutsu. Sasuke's eyes widened at that. I was only dead last because the stupid worthless bunshin was weighted so heavily on the exam. So stop being such an arrogant prick to us. Sasuke frowned. Whatever. He then opened one of the lunch boxes and began to eat. Sakura also frowned but sat to eat her own mean. Naruto had to watch them eat as his stupid high metabolism decided to make itself known by rumbling for food just then. I thought you ate breakfast? Asked Sakura. I did, but I burned through it so fast, complained Naruto. Then the unexpected happened. Sasuke offered up some of the food left in his lunch box. Just take some, we won't stand a chance against him if you can't fight because you're starving. Sakura then mimicked the action. The sound of thunder cracking the air and lightning raining down around them froze them all in place even as Kakashi appeared in one of those lightning strikes. You have disobeyed me, for that, you all, pass, he said, and on the last word the thunder and lightning vanished as if it had never been there in the first place and Kakashi was now smirking. Wah, was the eloquent response of the three genin. You made the team. Completion awarded. 20,000 express, unlocked daily quests, unlocked D-rank missions. Congratulations, your level has increased by 1. Status. Name. Uzumaki Naruto. Class. The Gamer. Title. Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level. LV16 next level. 87.96%. Affiliation. Konoha. HP. 2446 2446. CP. 2261 2261. STR. 3320.30 equals 53.30. VIT. 3648.60 equals 84.60. DEX. 3320.30 equals 53.30. INT. 5115.10 equals 66.10. WIS. 336.60 equals 39.60. LUC. Def. 11228.00 equals 140.00. SPD. 1038.65 equals 48.65. Status. Uzumaki plus 10 VIT, plus 10 INT, plus 50% experience to Fuinjutsu skill Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level prankster minus 5% reputation gains, plus 5% experience to trap skill, plus 5% experience to stealth skill. Uzumaki Naruto is the dead last of this year's graduating class, rating so low because of his inability to create a basic bunshin. Naruto proved his worth after the test when he stopped a traitor and learned 2A ranked Kenjutsu. And finally he has gotten some answers to his past, but still mystery remains. Who is his father? How did the Kyuubi escape? Point. 10. Ryo. 12,800. Reputation. Konohagakure. Hated 615 1,000ths. Landlord. Unfriendly 600 1,000ths. Yumi no Aruka. Friendly 600 1,000ths. Mizuki deceased at war 0 1,000ths. Konoha Library. Neutral 500 1,000ths. Konoha Merchant Guild. Hated 5 1,000ths. Ichiraku Ramen. Honored 9,000 10,000ths. Akamichi Bakery. Hated 15 1,000ths. Higurashi Weapons. Honored 1050 10,000. Konoha General Store. Hated 0 1,000ths. Konoha Clothiers. Hated 0 1,000ths. Yakiniku Q. Hated 5 1,000ths. Farm Stand. Hated 0 1,000ths. Surplus Arms. Hated 0 1,000ths. Konoha Apothecary. Hated 0 1,000ths. Konoha 12. Neutral 50 1,000ths. Uchiha Sasuke. Unfriendly 350 1,000ths. Haruno Sakura. Unfriendly 650 1,000ths. Nara Shikamaru. Honored 1,150 10,000ths. Akamichi Choji. Honored 50 1,000ths. Yamanaka Ino. Neutral 500 1,000ths. Hyuga Hinata, honored 6,510 thousandths. Inazuka Kiba, friendly 51 thousandths. Akamaru, friendly 51 thousandths. Aburame Shino, neutral 501 thousandths. Higurashi Tenten, neutral 751 thousandths. Rock Lee, friendly 501 thousandths. Hyuga Neji, unfriendly 501 thousandths. Aburame Clan, neutral 501 thousandths. Akamichi Clan, neutral 51 thousandths. Inazuka Clan, unfriendly 501 thousandths. Hyuga Clan, hated 5 thousandths. Kurama Clan, neutral 501 thousandths. Nara Clan, neutral 201 thousandths. Sarutobi Clan, friendly 651 thousandths. Sarutobi Asuma, friendly 251 thousandths. Sarutobi Hiruzen, friendly 951 thousandths. Senju Clan, neutral 501 thousandths. Shimura Clan, hated 101 thousandths. Uchiha Clan, unfriendly 551 thousandths. Uzumaki Clan, exalted 1001,000. Yamanaka Clan, unfriendly 151 thousandths. Maida Guy, neutral 501 thousandths. Hitaki Kakashi, exalted 1001,000. Yuahi Kurenai, unfriendly 751 thousandths. You have slept in your bed. HP and CP are fully restored. Naruto woke up feeling pretty good. After the test the day before, Naruto spent his evening working his ass off to get his bonus stat points. After that it was early to bed, he was wiped out after everything that day. Talk about an emotional roller coaster. Naruto was out the door early to go catch up with Shikamaru and Choji. It didn't take long to find them both waiting for him outside the gate to the Nara compound. "Morning guys," Naruto greeted them first. "Morning," said Choji. "Hey," said Shikamaru, "you both gained a level, good job," said Naruto, seeing their name and levels above their heads. Nara Shikamaru LV 15. Akamichi Choji LV 14. "Shit, I thought that might have happened," groused Shikamaru. "Why is that a bad thing?" asked Choji. "Because we couldn't distribute our own stat points. Anyway, invite us to group so we can hit up a training field before we have to meet our team," said Shikamaru. Naruto quickly formed the team. "Which field today? We going back to 11? Asked Choji. "I took Sakura to training field 11 on team assignment day. She needed a bit of a wake-up call," explained Naruto. "How did she take it?" asked Shikamaru. "Not very well, she almost quit as a shinobi afterwards. I talked her down, but who knows how it will go in the long run." "Did you tell her about the gamer thing?" asked Choji. "Nope, just went there to train, no grouping necessary. Anyway, what time are you supposed to meet your team?" asked Shikamaru. 10 a.m., you. 9 a.m., Shikamaru answered. "Okay, so we have about 3 hours. We could probably get through field 13 in that time, but it would be close and I have no idea about 12. "Let's at least check 12 out," said Choji. "It can't hurt and we can always turn around and leave if it gets too late." "I'm with Choji on this one," said Shikamaru. "Alright, then let's get a move on before it gets to be too late." Without another word the trio left at full speed for training field 12 and whatever was there waiting for them. Training field 12, a popular place to gather mushrooms, it is frequently infested with wild boar and in turn the boar are often hunted as a popular food source for village business. "We're never bringing Ino here," stated Shikamaru. Naruto and Choji both snorted a laugh. "Let's get to work, these pigs aren't going to slaughter themselves," said Naruto, pulling a pair of kunai. Baby Boar LVL 10. HP, 750 750th CP, 400 400ths. It's a cute little baby boar, that will gore and eat you if you let it. Watch out for their charge and if you hear them squeal you'd better run because Mama Boar is never too far away." "Troublesome," complained Shikamaru naturally. "Okay, so we can't let them squeal or things will get way worse for us." "So we need to kill them fast?" asked Choji. "Obviously," stated Naruto, vanishing a moment later only to reappear on top of a now dead pig with 2 kunai stuck into the back of its neck. "At least they die quickly," said Choji, pulling a pair of kunai for himself. "Want to see what a mama boar is?" asked Naruto, grinning at his friends. "Troublesome," said Shikamaru. "Fine, let's see one." Naruto threw a shuriken at one of the baby boars, hitting its side and drawing attention and its anger. The baby boar snorted a few times, pawing the ground as it prepared to charge. Naruto beaconed to it with one hand. As if by an unspoken agreement the two charged at each other. Naruto jumped over top of it, not wanting to risk getting gored by one of the tusks if he tried to roll past its side. As Naruto flew over it, he peppered it with shuriken, not really hurting it but definitely irritating it. Any more damage and it will die, commented Shikamaru. Sitting back lazily and just watching. Choji meanwhile was looking around the base of one of the trees, occasionally bending over and picking something. Finally the little baby boar started to squeal quite loudly. A loud thundering noise followed and a much larger boar emerged from the brush. Mama Boar LVL 15. HP, 1500 CP, 500 500s. You made Mama mad and now you're in big trouble. Like her child, her charge is quite dangerous but don't ignore her stomp either. Right, Choji, you keep her attention, Naruto and I will work to kill her, ordered Shikamaru, drawing Choji's attention away from the tree he was messing with. Okay, said Choji, immediately throwing a handful of shuriken at her. The boar charged at Choji instantly. Choji raised his arms above his head and clasped them together when they suddenly grew to enormous size. He then hammered both fists downward into the boar's head, slamming it into the ground. When the boar stood again it was very dizzy and confused, walking wobbly from side to side. Choji then grabbed one of her tusks in each hand and shoved her into the ground. I've got her held down, get her now. Naruto and Shikamaru then proceed to inflict as much damage as they were able to. Stabbing the beast over and over again. It was down almost half of its HP before it shook Choji off. Do it again, ordered Shikamaru, hoping it would work twice. Choji once again hammered it in the head but it didn't daze it at all and barely dropped it any HP. Instead it stomped on the ground hard, shaking everything around it, causing Choji to lose his footing and fall to the ground. Naruto, seeing the boar was about to gore his friend, acted fast. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he spawned dozens of clones which all immediately began to dogpile the boar, to give Choji some time to get his feet back and put some space. The boar shook and swung its tusks hard, dispelling most of the clones. Those that didn't proceeded to stab the pig repeatedly. Choji was able to scramble away from the boar and regain his footing. Nikuden Sensha, now, ordered Shikamaru. Choji nodded and did as he was told, plowing over the pig, destroying Naruto's clones but doing far more damage to the beast. Naruto, seeing its HP flashing red, leapt onto its back and drove two kunai into the back of its neck, finishing it off. When it decomposed there was a leg remaining. Ham shank, delicious Konoha wild boar ham shank. Cooking ingredient, it's a ham shank, for cooking, said Naruto, one eyebrow raised in confusion. Ham shank, asked Choji, drooling excessively as he stared at it. You can have it, said Naruto. We'll get more, that mama pig was worth a lot of experience, so I want to spawn as many of her as we can. Yada, shouted Choji, running forward to grab the ham shank. So for the next hour that's what they did, spawn mama boars and kill them. He and Choji both ended up with 10 each. And that's when the boss showed up. Papa Boar LV 18. HP, 2200 CP, 1000. You made Papa angry, you won't like Papa when he's angry. Watch out for his breath, it's a bit fiery. The boar snorted, causing a few small jets of flame to shoot from its nose. This is not going to end well for us, said Shikamaru, his shadow stretching immediately and grabbing hold of the boar. Kage Buki no Jutsu, shouted Naruto, letting his teammates know to stay clear as the boar was pelted with hundreds of kunai, most not even penetrating the thing's thick hide. That didn't work so good, said Naruto, seeing its HP barely drop. Use explosive notes, ordered Shikamaru, struggling to hold the beast. Naruto ran in and started laying notes all over the thing, finally jumping back and activating them. Katsu. The boar's health dropped a good chunk but not nearly enough. Its hide was still way too thick to do any significant damage. Any ideas? Asked Choji. Keep it busy, I'm thinking, said Shikamaru, his hold on it finally undone. Naruto and Choji took turns taunting it back and forth and peppering it with a little damage here and there, but it was still over half health. Shikamaru spent the time studying the beast. It was big and its hide was thick. They just weren't able to do enough damage. That's when Shikamaru saw its underside was untouched, looked very soft, very tender, and most importantly vulnerable. Guy, you need to attack its stomach. That's where it's vulnerable. Naruto ducked under a jet of flame from the boar and tried to slash at it but did almost no damage. And how do we do that? Naruto, attack the two legs on its right side. Choji, Once Naruto weakens those legs, you need to charge and hit its left side with as much power as you can muster to try and roll it. Once we do that, attack that belly like your lives depend on it, because they just might. You got it, said Naruto and Choji at once. Naruto spawned a handful of clones and had them help him in assaulting the legs, managing to make them bleed and the boar's body on that side to sag. Now, Choji, ordered Shikamaru. Choji charged in, his right leg swinging backwards as he got near. His right leg swung forward, and just before it hit, it grew to a size comparable with the boar itself. After the impact of the giant foot, the boar rock then fell to its side just as Shikamaru planned. Shikamaru's shadow instantly latched onto it. Kill it fast while I've still got chakra to hold it. Naruto and Choji immediately attacked without mercy. Naruto and his clones stabbing and slicing while Choji would hit it with Nikuden Sensha grinding into it until finally the beast huffed one last gout of flame before going still. The trio all breathed a giant sigh of relief when it finally started to decompose. Congratulations, your level has increased by 1. Your teammate Akamichi Choji's level has increased by 1. And a level, you too Choji. Ryo 2250. High-grade thick leather, 2 leather commonly used in shinobi clothing. Crafting material, Kaden. Hidama no Jutsu, skill scroll. Woohoo, shouted Naruto, excitedly. A skill scroll, really? That's kind of cool, said Choji. What skill, Kaden? Hidama no Jutsu, Naruto answered. Okay, so how do we split up the loot? Asked Shikamaru. That is a good question, said Naruto. I mean, obviously we all get an equal share of the money, so that's 750 ryo each. And me and Choji both got the ham earlier, so I think you should take your pick. I didn't expect you to be so reasonable, said Shikamaru, frowning. You should take the skill scroll, see if you can learn it first. Naruto nodded. You have obtained the skill scroll, Kaden. Hidama no Jutsu. Would you like to learn the skill? Naruto tapped the confirm. Why? You cannot learn this skill. Required. Kaden affinity. Well, that sucks. What the hell? Demand Naruto. It says I need to have a Kaden affinity. I wonder, mumbled Shikamaru. Can I try? Naruto shrugged and handed him the book. Sure. Shikamaru blinked in surprise when he was prompted to learn the skill. He was more surprised when the book went up in flames and smoke. You have a Kaden affinity? Asked Naruto. Apparently, I didn't even know I had one, said Shikamaru. Open your skills list, said Naruto, curious as to what his friend's skills were listed at. It says I do have a Kaden affinity, but it's only level 1 with 0 experience. If you just created it, then how come I wasn't able to? Questioned Naruto. Troublesome, Shikamaru complained, sighing aloud. I think we need to do some more research into chakra affinities. I have the books for it at home, I haven't really been able to read into them too much yet, added Naruto. It will have to wait, said Shikamaru, checking the time. We've got to hit the road and meet our sensei and Ino. Okay guys, I guess Choji and I can each take one of the skins, said Naruto, collecting the leather and handing one to Choji. Oh, before I forget, said Choji. I found a bunch of mushrooms earlier. They are a really good cooking ingredient. He then held them out to his friends. Cool, said Naruto, but you keep those, I'll try to collect some myself since I still have time before meeting my team. Alright, see you later, Naruto, said Choji, obviously happy with his recent food pickups. Your team has disbanded. Naruto was then left to his own devices in that field. So, mushroom hunting, huh? Naruto went toward the tree he saw Choji at earlier. He could see around the base were several broken stems from where they had been plucked. Naruto moved on to check another tree where he saw a bunch of mushrooms. Shiitake mushroom. This mushrooms has a soft, spongy quality, producing a woodsy, meaty flavor and texture when cooked. Cooking ingredient. Enoki mushroom. This mushroom has a mild, delicate flavor that is complemented by a slight crunch. Cooking ingredient. Naruto picked the mushrooms, moving to several different trees as he went. He ended up with 16 shiitake and 7 enoki. He didn't have any recipes for them, but a quick trip to the library should help him out, same with the ham shank. Naruto didn't stay very long as he was due to meet his team for training and a mission. Naruto arrived a few minutes early to the meeting, though once again he was the last to arrive other than Kakashi. Sasuke looked very displeased to see Naruto arrive, acknowledging his arrival with little more than a glare. Sakura looked between them nervously, expecting a fight to break out, especially with the way things were left unsettled at the test. Thankfully, Kakashi arrived before they could come to blows. So, first today we're going to go over some things. Starting with the obvious. Sasuke, we need to discuss your unwillingness to be teamed with anyone. Would you care to explain yourself? They will just slow me down, stated Sasuke. Tell me more, said Kakashi, staring Sasuke down a bit. After a short stare down between Kakashi and Sasuke, the youth finally answered. I won't be responsible for their safety. They'll get themselves killed and put me at risk because of it. I see, so you're worried they will get themselves killed, translated Kakashi. Grunted Sasuke, refusing to acknowledge Kakashi's words. I'll take that as a, yes, you're absolutely right, Kakashi-sensei. You're such a genius, please teach me to be just like you. Kakashi retorted before looking to Sakura and Naruto. What do you think about that, Sakura? Sakura looked embarrassed. He's not wrong, but he's not completely right. I'm not very strong, but I won't get in his way. Sasuke, what do you think? Asked Kakashi. She's weak, she even said so. I don't want to watch someone die again, he stated angrily. Now we get to the real root of the issue. Care to elaborate further, Sasuke? Sasuke snarled at the man. Go to hell, I don't have to explain anything. True, you don't have to, but you should. Anyway, Sakura, what are you going to do about Sasuke's issue? Get stronger, so strong I can protect him. Good answer, Sasuke, anything to say about that? Do what you want, he said, not daring to look at her. Good enough for now, said Kakashi. Now for you, Naruto. What do you think? He needs to apologize for his bullshit, said Naruto, clearly leaving no room for less. You can go to hell too, said Sasuke rudely. Mumbled Kakashi thoughtfully. Sasuke, as much as you may not wish to acknowledge it, you were in the wrong yesterday. You do owe your teammates an apology, a sincere one. Naruto is significantly stronger than you seem to think he is, so I'll make a deal with you. You will spar with him. When it's done you will decide if you should apologize to him or not. Any rules? Asked Sasuke, smirking slightly now. No killing blows, otherwise go for it and have fun. Naruto was very tempted to protest having the fight at all, but the opportunity to fight Sasuke again, and not just in a taijutsu spar where the asshole tended to dominate, was just too good to pass up. Fine, I'll kick his ass. Quest alert, make peace by fighting it out. Beat Sasuke in a spar and settle your differences. Fight Sasuke to knockout. Completion award, 5000 Express. Sasuke's apology. Increase reputation with Uchiha Sasuke. Completion failure, 1000 EXP. Decrease reputation with Uchiha Sasuke. You wish, Dobi. Naruto's eyebrow twitched slightly at the insult. He was really starting to dislike being called Dobi. Naruto used observe again on Sasuke. He hadn't checked the asshole's stats in a few days. Name, Uchiha Sasuke. Title, Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level, LV19. Next level, 24.65%. Affiliation, Konoha. HP, 700 700ths. CP, 747 140ths. STR, 45. VIT, 70. Dex, 89. Int, 74. Whis, 46. Luck, 1. Status, Unawakened Sharingan plus 2 Dex and plus 3 Int and plus 1 Whis per level. Avenger plus 25% to all stats when attacking Uchiha Itachi. Firebug minus 15% cost to Kaden Jutsu, plus 10 damage to Kaden Jutsu. Uchiha Sasuke is the last loyal surviving member of the infamous Uchiha clan. Well known for their Dujutsu, the Sharingan, which has allowed them to excel as shinobi in the field. His past is clouded by the pain and misery of losing his family so much that vengeance is all that remains to him. Nothing had really changed, which was to Naruto's benefit. His best hope for beating Sasuke was once again to outlast him. Naruto could take more damage, the trick would be to push enough damage back on him to win the fight and avoid taking any major damage like getting lit up by a giant fireball. A giant fireball like the one that was currently heading right for him. Naruto's eyes widened for a moment before he shot off in a blur of motion, easily avoiding the fireball. Somehow, Naruto missed Kakashi's call for a start to the fight. Naruto rushed around behind Sasuke, punching him sharply in the kidneys, causing the boy to wince but still counter with a spinning kick into Naruto's ribs, causing him to back away. Naruto smirked when he saw their HP drop by almost the same amount. Still, In overall percentage loss, Sasuke suffered more damage. Next was a flurry of kicks and punches being exchanged in which Sasuke managed to come out mostly on top. Even still, Naruto wasn't deterred. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, shouted Naruto, spawning dozens of clones. Now, Naruto knew with his gamer ability he didn't have to yell the name of the technique, but this was a point of pride. An A-ranked kinjutsu, he'd be damned if he didn't use it and make sure that ass heard what it was. Sasuke's eyes widened slightly when he ignored the first clone, thinking it was an illusion only to get punched in the face by it, sending him rolling across the field. As he finally got his feet back under him, sent a flurry of shuriken into the horde of clones, killing a few but mostly being ineffective. It did however give him time to fire off a giant fireball into them, obliterating most of them. Naruto smirked even as his clones were obliterated by the flames of destruction. Sasuke mimicked the smirk, thinking he'd had the fight in the bag now, until he felt someone latch onto his arms and legs, lifting him up and slamming him bodily into the ground, forcing the air from his lungs painfully. He barely managed to register Naruto dropping bodily toward him from the air above him. Naruto's knees impacted Sasuke's stomach with a solid thwap sound. Naruto then drove a hard punch into Sasuke's face, knocking him out. "Winner, Naruto," said Kakashi. "Good fight, smart strategy, well done." Naruto couldn't help grinning at the praise from his teacher. "Feel better after getting that out of your system, asked Kakashi. Yes I do," said Naruto, standing off of Sasuke. He dispelled his clones and brushed the dirt off. "Now, as soon as he apologizes I'll be ready to work." Kakashi chuckled and shook his head. "So long as you can move forward." Kakashi then turned to Sakura. "Why don't you try and patch him up? I doubt he'll be feeling overly generous toward me and Naruto right now." Sakura nodded and ran forward. "Walk with me, Naruto," said Kakashi, motioning for the boy to follow him. "Okay, so what do you need?" asked Naruto, joining Kakashi a ways away from Sasuke and Sakura. "Would you mind telling me what you can observe from Sasuke and Sakura, yourself as well, just the status effects for now? The more I know the better I'll be able to assist you in training. Sasuke's path is pretty well set as an assault fighter, or in your gaming terms, DPS." Naruto studied Kakashi for a minute before nodding his accent. Naruto status: Uzumaki +10 Vit, +10 Int, +50% experience to Fuinjutsu skill Kyuubi Jinchuriki, +100 HP and +100 CP per level prankster, -5% reputation gains, +5% experience to trap skill, +5% experience to stealth skill. Sasuke status: Sharingan +2 Dex and +3 Int and +1 Wisp per level Avenger, +25% to all stats when attacking Uchiha Itachi Firebug, -15% cost to Kaden Jutsu, +10 damage to Kaden Jutsu. Sakura status: Perfect Control +15 Wisp per level, -50% cost to all Jutsu Fangirl, -25% decrease to experience gain, -50% decrease to bonus stat gain Book Smart +10 Int per level, -75% CP, +25% increase to skill experience. Hummed Kakashi in thought. "What are you thinking for Sakura?" asked Naruto, his curiosity getting the better of him. "Either Genjutsu or Iryojutsu. With her limited chakra pool and perfect control there isn't much else I can do for her, especially not with that fangirl status affecting her." "Cool, so a healer or support role," said Naruto, appreciating it. Kakashi paused as he realized Naruto was still there. "Ah, if you could keep that to yourself for now I'd appreciate it." Naruto considered it for a minute before answering. "Okay, I'll keep it quiet, but what do you see for me?" "I mean, with my Jinchuriki status my chakra pool and hit points are stupid high, so I could be a shield typer, DPS, depending on how I spend my points. I just don't know which way to go. Let me think about your situation for a while. Your gamer ability makes things much more complicated, allowing you to pursue multiple paths," explained Kakashi. "For now, let's get back to your teammates. Sasuke should be awake by now." Naruto nodded and followed Kakashi back. When they arrived, Sasuke looked even unhappier than before the fight. "Now then Sasuke, still think Naruto will hold you back?" asked Kakashi. Sasuke sneered. "Fine, he won't hold me back, happy now. Are you ready to apologize to your teammates?" asked Kakashi. Sasuke mumbled something none of the heard very well. "I'm sorry, didn't quite catch that," said Kakashi, encouraging Sasuke to speak up. Sasuke glared at Kakashi. I'm sorry I underestimated you. Try again, said Kakashi. It was not the apology he expected. Sasuke growled, more than a little unhappy. I'm sorry for treating you so poorly. Still not what I'm looking for, ordered Kakashi. Sasuke, think about what your brother did to you, then think about what you did to your teammates yesterday. Then try again. Sasuke's eyes widened for a moment before they were flooded with rage. I'm nothing like him. Don't ever compare me to him again. Are you so different, Sasuke? Demanded Kakashi, his voice no longer friendly. What did he do? What did you do? He betrayed me, my whole family. He murdered them all, and for what? To test himself, that's what. To prove he was better than all of them, better than everyone in the village, screamed Sasuke. And what did you do yesterday? What were your actions? Demanded Kakashi. You betrayed your team, people you need to be able to trust and people who need to be able to trust you. If that had been a mission and I was an enemy shinobi, you as good as murdered them by putting the mission over your comrades. That's what we're taught in the academy. Sasuke tried to defend his actions, his eyes wide and slightly panicked. Let me tell you something I was taught years ago. Those who abandon the mission are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are lower than trash. What your brother did made him lower than trash. What you did yesterday made you lower than trash. Right now I don't see any difference between you and your brother. It's up to you to change, and you can start by apologizing to your teammates the right way. Kakashi started his speech rather angry, but by the end bite in his tone faded. Sasuke suddenly seemed a bit defeated. He wasn't used to losing, and despite having just lost a fight to Naruto of all people, it was the argument with Kakashi that impacted harder. It didn't sit well with him. Had he really become like his brother? Wasn't everything he'd done to make sure someone like his brother never happened again? How had he lost sight of that? Was Kakashi right? Well, asked Kakashi, snapping the young man out of his reverie. I'm sorry, said Sasuke softly. I betrayed your trust and refused to cooperate with you as a teammate should have. If this had been a real mission, my selfishness would have gotten you both killed. For that I am sorry. It won't happen again, but don't either of you dare slow me down or fall behind. I will not be responsible for your deaths. Apology accepted, said Naruto, no hint of sarcasm or joke involved. But the same goes for you, don't slow me down or fall behind. I won't always be there to save your ass. Sasuke smirked a little. Deal, boys, complained Sakura. Okay, now that we've settled that issue, let's get to work. We have a wonderful D-rank mission to get to. Your fists did the talking. Completion awarded. 5000 Express, Sasuke's apology, plus 100 to reputation with Sasuke Uchiha. Kakashi led the trio to the Hokage Tower, where he collected a mission scroll, leaving his team to wait outside the office. Quest alert. D-rank mission. Beat them weeds. Pull all weeds in the Koyabano's garden in less than 2 hours. Completion award. 1000 EXP. 1500 Ryo. Increase reputation with Konoha. Completion failure. 100 Express. Decrease reputation with Konoha. When Kakashi came back out waving a mission scroll detailing exactly the same request as the mission, Naruto hung his head in disappointment. A chore? D-rank missions were just chores lazy people didn't feel like doing. Naruto wanted to scream in protest and annoyance, but he had no choice in the matter. Plus it was basically free experience and money. Okay team, let's go, said Kakashi with false bravado, trying to encourage his team at least a little bit. Status. Name. Uzumaki Naruto. Class. The Gamer. Title. Genin plus 10 increase to. Experience gain. Level. LV17 next level. 98.01%. Affiliation. Konoha. HP. 2557 2557. CP. 2372 2370 seconds. STR. 3420.40 equals 54.40. VIT. 3748.70 equals 87.70. Dex. 3420.40 equals 54.40. Int. 5215.20 equals 67.20. WIS. 34 6.80 equals 40.80. Luck. Def. 11228.00 equals 140.00. SPD. 1039.20 equals 49.20. Status. Uzumaki plus 10 vit, plus 10 int, plus 50% experience to Fuinjutsu skill Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level prankster minus 5% reputation gains, plus 5% experience to trapped skill, plus 5% experience to stealth skill. Uzumaki Naruto is the dead last of this year's graduating class, rating so low because of his inability to create a basic bunshin. Naruto proved his worth after the test when he stopped a traitor and learned 2A ranked Kinjutsu. And finally he has gotten some answers to his past, but still mystery remains. Who is his father? How did the Kyuubi escape? Point. 15. Ryo. 13,550. Chakra reinforcement active LV 3991.23% CP, 100. Using chakra to reinforce your body can now protect you from taking some damage. Additional 490 HP damage reduction when active. Reinforcement lasts until 490 damage has been inflicted on you. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu active LV8 Express, 12.23% CP, 1/2 total CP. Kage Bunshin are corporeal copies capable of everything you are, include fighting, using jutsu and learning new things. The first Kage Bunshin will reduce your CP by 1/2 and each additional Kage Bunshins thereafter will reduce the Kage Bunshin's CP by 1/2. For example, if you have CP 2000, one Kage Bunshin will have CP 1000, but 100 Kage Bunshin will have CP 10. Kage Bunshin will dispel with one solid hit or when they run out of chakra. If they die by being hit, the unused CP will return to your CP pool. Physical endurance passive LV max. The body's durability increases, allowing for less damage taken. Passively increases DEF 25%. Naruto was not pleased with his first D rank mission. Honestly, he thought it was some straight up bullshit. It was even more obnoxious with the nasty old woman glaring at him the entire time he was doing the work. He tried to speed up the mission by using clones, but Kakashi quickly put an end to that notion. Looks good team, well done, said Kakashi, surveying the final results of their labor. I suppose this will do, said the old woman, the widow Koyabano. She couldn't help but give Naruto one last dirty look before signing Kakashi's form and going back inside her home. What a bitch, exclaimed Naruto, his irritation showing clearly on his face. Ma, Naruto, no need to speak so poorly of our clients, chided Kakashi. She wasn't glaring at you for the entirety of the mission, retorted Naruto, his displeasure still clear. Anyway, let's get a move on. We need to turn in the mission, then it's time for a bit of team training. Kakashi led them to the tower and turned in the mission. Mission accomplished. D rank. Completion awarded. 1000 Express, 1500 Ryo, plus 5 to reputation with Konoha. Your level has increased by 1. Kakashi then led them back to the training field. So, these books are for you to study in your own time. I fully expect you to learn them front to back inside of a month, Kakashi explained as he handed each of them a book. He gave Naruto a look warning him not to burn the book in front of his teammates. You've obtained skill book, Genin Team Tactics. Would you like to learn the skill? Naruto tapped the decline N button. He could learn the book once he got home. For now, we are going to start with some chakra control exercises, ordered Kakashi. I'm going to teach you to climb trees. But we already know how to climb trees, protested Naruto. Not without using your hands, said Kakashi. He then started to walk up a tree in the clearing. Cool, shouted Naruto in excitement. So, the idea is to channel chakra to your feet and use it to stick to the tree so you can walk up it. How does this help chakra control? Asked Sakura. Channeling chakra to your feet is one of the hard places in the human body to do so. Controlling exactly how much you use will make controlling it for jutsu easier so you don't waste as much, explained Kakashi. This isn't something that once you learn it will make you a master of it. The more you practice it, the better your control will get. So, everyone pick a tree and get to work. As he finished, he threw a kunai down in front of each of them. Naruto picked his up and sprinted to the closest tree. He put a foot against it, channeled a little chakra, took one step up and fell on his head. You might want to give it a bit of a running start at first, recommended Kakashi. Naruto frowned at his sensei. You couldn't have said that before I started. But you seem so eager to get started, protested Kakashi, trying to look completely innocent and failing miserably since he was actively reading his porno, not really paying much attention to his team. Naruto closed his eyes and breathed in and out, trying to clear his head. Naruto rolled backwards from the tree and up to his feet. He focused chakra to his feet again and took a step, only to pull up a large chunk of dirt and trip him up when he took a step forward. "Too much chakra," said Kakashi, still not really paying too much attention. Naruto glared at the man, trying to shake the dirt off his foot. So Naruto tried again, but with a bit less chakra. This time he made it 5 steps up the tree before losing his grip. "Better, try to keep the chakra flow even. Too much and you'll break the bark, causing you to lose your grip. Too little and you'll slip right off," explained Kakashi, seeing Sasuke have the same problem. "This is easy," said Sakura from the top branch. "Well, looks like you have good control. You should look into learning some genjutsu or iryojutsu," suggested Kakashi. "But for now, keep working on it. You need to improve your stamina. Your control is only so good because you have so little chakra to control." Sakura nodded and started running up and down the tree. After about 10 times she had to rest. Naruto went back to grinding at it. Eventually he'd get the hang of it and he'd be racing up and down the tree like it was second nature. For now, he'd take just getting a step further than his previous attempts as progress. After about 2 hours of working at it, Kakashi called the team's day over and released them to do as they pleased. Naruto chose to stay and work on tree climbing. Sakura went home to rest. Sasuke also left but didn't say where or why he was going, he just left. It must have been close to midnight when Naruto finally got it down. A special skill has been created through a special act. By using your chakra to take hold of surfaces, a skill to improve chakra control, tree climbing, LVL1 has been created. Tree climbing passive LV 10.00% 10 CP per 5 seconds. By using your chakra to stick to surfaces you can now move more freely and better use your chakra. Passively increases WIS 1%. Passively reduces excess CP lost from using too much chakra by 1%. That's some bullshit, all of that and it barely does shit for my control. What the fuck, you stupid ass game? Complained Naruto very loudly. Naruto was annoyed and now very tired. He'd worked all day to learn this crap and for all that effort this was all he got. "That's it, I'm going home to bed. You have slept in your bed. HP and CP are fully restored." Naruto woke up feeling refreshed from the night before, if still a little annoyed by the results of the chakra control exercise. Even if it was a badass ability, it still sucked that it did so very little for him. Naruto sat up and opened his inventory and pulled out the Genin Team Tactics skill book. "You've obtained skill book, Genin Team Tactics. Would you like to learn the skill?" Naruto hit the confirm Y button. "You cannot learn skill. Requires WIS 40. Naruto groaned in irritation. He quickly calculated that he could gain 2 more bonus stat points through playing shogi with Shikamaru, which meant he needed to put in 4 points into WIS to be able to learn it after he gained the bonus stat points. Naruto put the book away and added the points. Then he sighed. Time to get underway. Naruto went through his morning routine then headed out the door. Naruto met up with Shikamaru and Choji once again, but this time they focused on training for bonus stat points in the little time they had. Thankfully, Shikamaru was more than willing to put the time in playing shogi. He earned his points having played the longest games yet against Shikamaru. Sadly he didn't have enough time to work on any other points, but he was happy all the same. As soon as he got his 2 points he pulled out the skill book again. "You've obtained skill book, Genin Team Tactics. Would you like to learn the skill?" Naruto hit the button. "You've obtained the skill, Genin Team Tactics. Genin Team Tactics passive LV 30.00%. Team formations, ambush points, counter ambush and many other tactics. Passively increases in 12.5%. Passively increases WIS 12.5%. Naruto met up with his team at the Hokage Tower, got another D-rank mission. This time walking some of the Inuzuka dogs. This was followed by more running up and down trees. Sasuke was still struggling with it. Sakura was worn out by the time she finished about 10 laps. Naruto was just getting skill experience. However, the 3 levels he gained to his tree climbing was worth all the effort. For every level he gained it increased the passive benefits by 1% each. After the team broke up, Naruto headed back to the academy training field where he ran into Shikamaru and Choji, both hard at work, which Naruto was only too happy to join in on. "Well, According to my stats I've hit my cap, you guys? Asked Naruto. Yeah, a while ago, said Shikamaru. Me too, said Choji. So now what? It's a bit late to try a training field. You got those books on affinities still? Asked Shikamaru. Yeah, they are back at my place though. Naruto answered, unsure if his friends would want to come to his place. Alright, let's go, said Shikamaru. We should get some food on the way there, suggested Choji. Hell yeah, Ichiraku ramen here we come, cheered Naruto, smiling from ear to ear. The trio were soon happily sitting in Naruto's rundown apartment eating noodles. No offense, Naruto, but your place is kind of a shithole, said Shikamaru. Stupid landlord won't fix anything. It's cause of the damned Kyuubi, explained Naruto. But my reputation with him has been improving. When the gamer thing first started he hated me, now he's just unfriendly. A few more months and he should hit neutral, then maybe I can get the ass to fix some shit around here. What do the reputations do for you anyway? Asked Choji. I'm not completely sure, but like at Higurashi, I started at neutral, but when I hit friendly the old man gave me a discount on his goods, and a bigger discount when I got to honored. What does it say about me and Choji? Asked Shikamaru. Let me check, I don't really pay much attention to it. I just know I get a lot representative from some of the stupid ass quests, not that it ever seems to do me much good. So let's see, reputation. Naruto opened the menu audibly so the guys could maybe see or if not just know that he'd opened it. It says you're both honored with me. Shikamaru is 1200 out of 10,000 and Choji is 150 out of 10,000. What about the other rookies? Sakura and Sasuke are both unfriendly with me, but they've been getting better because we're on a team and stuff. Hinata is honored 6,500 out of 10,000, no idea why that's so high, and every time I try to talk to her she passes out or runs away. Kiba and Akamaru are both friendly with me. Ino and Shino are both neutral. Interesting, said Shikamaru. You have any idea why it's important? It could have to do with the team system or something to do with training maybe. I'm not really sure, said Shikamaru. Time will tell. Anyway, let's see those books. Naruto closed the window and went over to his small bookshelf and grabbed 3 books he'd gotten from the library, setting them on the table. Take your pick, said Naruto, grabbing the top book titled simply, The Elements. Shikamaru took the next, Affinities and You, while Choji reluctantly took the last book, Baka's Guide to Chakra Affinities. Naruto, trade me, said Choji. Naruto shrugged and swapped. He thought the Bakas was actually the easiest of them to read. Earth, water, fire, wind, lighting. Earth, water, fire, wind, lighting. Repeat that aloud at least 100 times. When it comes to the basics of the elements, that simple pattern establishes most of the ground rules. Now, I'm sure you're asking, why does that establish most of the ground rules? The answer is simple. When it comes to affinities there is always a strength and a weakness. Earth is strong against water but weak against lightning. Now, can you tell me about the rest of them? Underscore is strong against underscore but weak against water. Underscore is strong against underscore but weak against earth. Underscore is strong against underscore but weak against fire. Underscore is strong against underscore but weak against wind. Naruto frowned. Is it really this simple? What? Asked Shikamaru, looking up from his book. Oh sorry, I was talking to myself. So, what's so simple? Well, the elements, they all have a weakness and strength. This book spells it out very directly right at the start. Like fire is strong against wind but weak against water. Isn't that common sense? Asked Choji. I guess that is, but what about earth being weak against lightning? Did you know that? I guess not, said Choji. Does it saying anything about not being able to learn a certain element? Asked Shikamaru. I haven't gotten that far yet, said Naruto, scratching the back of his head slightly embarrassed. Troublesome, said Shikamaru, closing his book and setting it aside. Come share that book, it's got to be far less complicated than the mess that moron was trying to spell out. I should have known better than to read a book written by an Uchiha. That was written by an Uchiha? Asked Choji, setting his book on top of Shikamaru's. This one was too. He started out with all kinds of chakra equations and formulas. Yeah, let's just share the Baka's book, reiterated Naruto. Now, most people only have one primary affinity, but that won't stop you from learning all of the affinities, but if you choose to go that route then prepare to work your ass off and probably never master any of the affinities. There is a reason most shinobi never learn more than 1 or 2 affinities, a primary and a secondary. We'll talk more on secondary affinities later, for now let's focus on primary affinities. Your primary affinity is that which you most readily align with. This doesn't mean you will instantaneously be the strongest of ninjutsu user just for knowing your affinity and knowing a few jutsu using that affinity. Also, don't think that just because you were born in High no Kuni that you will instantly have a fire affinity, or that if you come from K's no Kuni you will creating tornadoes for the fun of it. Where you're born doesn't mean a thing when it comes to your affinity. That said, there is an ounce of truth to the statement, High no Kuni has more fire affinities than not, just as K's no Kuni has more wind affinities than not. Now, to find out your affinity you will need a sheet of chakra affinity paper, purchasable at most shinobi outfitters. Once you've procured the necessary papers you'll need to simply channel a little chakra into it and see what happens. If you have an earth affinity the paper will crumble to dust. An earth affinity indicates you have a strong base and will stand firm. Earth techniques are very popular for defensive ninjutsu and powerful taijutsu augmentation. Though don't be fooled, there are plenty of powerful and highly damaging ninjutsu. If you have a water affinity the paper will soak through. A water affinity indicates you have a fluid, loose stance and will often flow around obstacles in your path. Water techniques are well balanced between defensive techniques that can trap opponents as well as push them away to create much need separation, and destructive offensive skills that can wash away an entire village. There is also the rare water affinity user that is able to use it in Iryojutsu. If you have a fire affinity the paper will burn to ash. A fire affinity indicates you have a short temper and strong passions. Fire has very little in the way of defensive techniques but excels in destructive power that is not easily controlled. If you have a wind affinity the paper will cut apart. A wind affinity indicates you are aloof and easily distracted, but don't let that fool you as you are at the top of the food chain when it comes to combat. Wind is often called the affinity of combat, used in close to mid-range fighting. Wind techniques can be used to both push and cut and defensively to redirect. If you have a lightning affinity the paper will crinkle. A lightning affinity indicates you are cold and unpredictable. Lightning techniques can be used to great effect in causing damage and enhancing one's abilities to devastating effect. I so should have a fire affinity, protested Naruto, sitting back from the book. Wind, said Shikamaru and Choji at the same time. You think? Choji nodded and grunted. Troublesome, probably, but that doesn't explain why you couldn't learn that Kaden technique, said Shikamaru, rubbing his temples. Well, wind is opposed to fire, said Choji with a shrug. I doubt it's that simple. I'm pretty sure fire isn't my primary affinity either, said Shikamaru. I'm guessing I'm either water or earth, and water is directly opposed to fire. Maybe he has a super strong wind affinity, or maybe the Kyuubi is messing with him, suggested Choji. All possible, but we really need to look into it more, said Shikamaru. We should go to Higarashi's tomorrow and get some chakra paper. Maybe you guys can get that weekly quest with me this time now that we can group, offered Naruto. I'm game, said Choji. I need to get some new armor anyway. Maybe you can bring that leather. Higurashi might be able to do something with it, suggested Naruto, trying to be helpful. Worth looking into, said Shikamaru, yawning. It's probably time we head out. Let's meet up tomorrow at Higarashi's around say 4 p.m. See you two there, said Naruto. Naruto couldn't help but feel excited as he eventually dozed off that night, his pre-sleep thoughts filled with unleashing untold elemental power on his enemies, Sasuke bowing down to him, Sakura fawning over him, getting the Hokage's hat. It was a good thought to fall asleep to. You have slept in your bed. HP and CP are fully restored. Naruto raced through the day, only too excited to meet up with his friends. It was another crappy mission, this time babysitting some kids, but the experience and money was welcome all the same. Naruto met up with Shikamaru and Choji just outside of Higarashi's. He was a few minutes late, but they didn't seem to mind his being a little tardy, but 2 more levels to tree climbing was worth it. Tree climbing passive LV 612.87% 10 CP per 5 seconds. By using your chakra to stick to surfaces you can now move more freely and better use your chakra. Passively increases WIS 6%. Passively reduces excess CP lost from using too much chakra by 6%. Hey guys, sorry I'm late, said Naruto, greeting them right away. It's only a few minutes, no big deal, said Shikamaru. Anyway, let's head inside. Naruto followed in behind the pair, but just before he entered he paused. All through the market district were the merchants he knew only too well. Except they all had above their heads like they had quests for him, but instead of being gold color they were a metallic blue color. Huh, grunted Naruto, unintentionally narrowing his eyes. It wasn't that he didn't want more quests, it was that this was undoubtedly going to be some new game mechanic that was going to drive him apeshit. Naruto, you coming? Asked Shikamaru, coming back out of the shop. Then he saw Naruto's narrowed eyes and him looking down the street. What's up? Naruto quickly formed a team and invited Shikamaru. Do you see the blue question marks? Yeah, that's strange. Has it ever done that before? Nope, this is new. This is probably going to be troublesome, isn't it? Probably, answered Naruto. Well, let's finish up in Higarashi's then we can see what that's all about, said Shikamaru. Naruto nodded and finally followed Shikamaru into the shop. Yo, Naruto, you here for the weekly delivery? I'm sorry but I don't have one this week. Tenten got back from her mission early, explained Hidden. Then Naruto saw the old man had a blue above his head. Well, have you got any work for me? Well, if you're hard up I could use some scrap metal. If you scour some of the training fields I'm sure you'll find plenty just laying around. Shinobi tend to just discard their broken weapons wherever. Daily quest alert 0/5. Salvage operation. Collect broken weapons from training fields 1 through 10. Collect 30 pieces of scrap metal. Completion award. Increase reputation with Higurashi weapons. 500 Ryo. Completion failure. Decrease reputation with Higurashi weapons. Naruto raised a surprised eyebrow when there was no experience associated with the quest, that in the 0/5 made him curious. Naruto tapped the accept button. Daily quest accepted 1/5. Naruto groaned. Is this something you need every day? Well, I sure wouldn't say no to the free scrap metal, said Hidden with a chuckle. Okay, I'll take care of it, said Naruto. If Naruto understood the new mechanic correctly, the blue was for daily quests of which he could only do 5 per day or accept 5 at a time, and they only gave reputation points and money. Anyway, what can I do for you boys today? Chakra paper, said Shikamaru. Sorry boys, can only sell that to Chunin and above. Maybe you can convince your sensei to buy it for you, explained Hidden, looking on sympathetically. Figures it would be something like that, said Shikamaru. Are you sure I can't convince you just this once? Pleaded Naruto. You know I would if I could, Naruto, but it's a big deal. If my store gets audited by the village and they find out I sold to Genin, they'd shut me down or fine me so heavily I'd have no choice but to go out of business anyway. It's okay, old man, I appreciate it anyway. Anything else I can get you boys? He asked. Yeah, said Choji, speaking up. See, I got this hide and I was hoping to find out if I could get some better armor made or maybe traded for. Hidden picked up the hide. Now where did you boys run across a Papa Boar? Them beasties is dangerous. We know, all three deadpanned. Anyway, this is some really nice leather. I could probably make you some nice gloves and boots or maybe a jacket. You'd have to pay for the labor and any other pieces for it, of course. How good are we talking here? Asked Naruto. Better than what you're wearing now, but not much better, answered Hidden. What could you do with 2 hides? Naruto asked quickly. Make more for him. Why, you got another hide. Naruto pulled it out of his inventory and put it on the counter. How much is it worth? I usually pay about 6,000 Ryo per hide, answered Hidden. Okay, so Choji, I'll sell you mine for 3,000 Ryo and you can get more that way. What do you say? Deal, said Choji, grinning and pulling out the money. Naruto happily took it, leaving Choji with the hide. Pleasure doing business with you. I hate you sometimes, brat, said Hidden. Still, good of you to look out for your friends. So what do you think? Jacket, boots and gloves. How much for the extras? The most expensive part is the leather which you've provide. The rest of the bits and labor will run you about 10,000 Ryo. Sound fair? Yeah, said Choji reluctantly, handing over the cash. There went my yakiniku Q binge. Totally worth it though, right? Asked Naruto. Yeah, I suppose, pouted Choji. Well, it will be ready in a week, come back for your stuff then. In the meantime, you'd better hit the road if you want to collect all that scrap before I close up shop. You got it, said Naruto, saluting him with a grin. Once back outside, Shikamaru spoke first. So, daily quests now, huh? Yeah, I saw some kind of unlock message about that a while ago but had no idea what it was talking about. I think I can do up to 4 more today, so we should probably figure out which quests to take and go from there. You should probably start with the farm stand and the general supply store and maybe the apothecary, suggested Shikamaru. Then Yakiniku Q, it would be nice if we could all go somewhere other than Ichiraku all the time. Blasphemer, hissed Naruto. Blasphemer, hissed Choji in response to Naruto. Troublesome, said Shikamaru. So it was the trio spent the rest of the night doing daily quests. Daily quest alert 1/5. Scaredy cat. Scare away the alley cats around Yakiniku Q's garbage bins. Scare away 5 cats in Tora. Completion award. Increase reputation with Yakiniku Q. 500 Ryo. Completion failure. Decrease reputation with Yakiniku Q. Daily quest accepted 2/5. Daily quest alert 2/5. Stop thief. Catch the fruit thieves and recover the stolen goods. Catch the thief and recover the stolen goods. Completion award. Increase reputation with farm stand. 500 Ryo. Completion failure. Decrease reputation with farm stand. Daily quest accepted 3/5. Daily quest alert 3/5. Rats again. Eliminate the chakra rat nest in the basement storeroom. Kill 20 feet chakra rats, and 1 foot king chakra rat. Completion award. Increase reputation with Konoha General Store. 500 Ryo. Completion failure. Decrease reputation with Konoha General Store. Daily quest accepted 4/5. Daily quest alert 4/5. Missing leaves. A box of medicinal leaves was delivered to the wrong shop. Find the missing crate and return it to Konoha Apothecary. Recover the missing crate of medicinal leaves. Completion award. Increase reputation with Konoha Apothecary. 500 Ryo. Completion failure. Decrease reputation with Konoha Apothecary. Daily quest accepted 5/5. It was a really long night, but the 50 reputation points per quest plus the money was kind of worth it. Status. Name. Uzumaki Naruto. Class. The Gamer. Title. Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level. LV18 next level. 19.99%. Affiliation. Konoha. HP. 2679 2679. CP. 2508 2508. STR. 3620.60 equals 56.60. VIT. 3948.90 equals 87.90. DEX. 3620.60 equals 56.60. INT. 5416.50 equals 69.50. WIS. 4011.40 equals 51.40. Luck. Def. 11228.00 equals 140.00. SPD. 1049.30 equals 49.30. Status. Uzumaki plus 10 VIT, plus 10 INT, plus 50% experience to Fuinjutsu skill Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level prankster minus 5% reputation gains, plus 5% experience to trap skill, plus 5% experience to stealth skill. Uzumaki Naruto is the dead last of this year's graduating class, rating so low because of his inability to create a basic bunshin. Naruto proved his worth after the test when he stopped a traitor and learned 2A ranked Kinjutsu. And finally he has gotten some answers to his past, but still mystery remains. Who is his father? How did the Kyuubi escape? Point. 16. Ryo. 23,550. Cooking active LV15 EXP 9.12% CP5. Eating right will help you grow up big and strong. Food can be made to keep you alive but also to make you stronger. Additional 7.5% to cooking speed when active. New cooking recipes. Mushroom soup. Restores 300 HP. Plus 10 VIT and plus 10 Dex for 30 minutes. Ham steak. Restores 300 HP. Plus 10 VIT and plus 10 STR for 30 minutes. Ham and eggs. Restores 500 HP. Plus 20 VIT and plus 10 STR for 30 minutes. Naruto awoke yawning. He may have been game fully rested, but he felt a bit off. After finding out about the daily quests the day before and drudging through them, it left him with plenty to think about. It was just more stuff the game was throwing at him. He couldn't help but wonder if things would always be this hectic. It was surprising then when he suddenly realized that he hadn't taken a day off, just off to relax and do nothing since the game thing started. That's it. This weekend I'm taking off, no training, no work, no dailies or quests, stated Naruto, suddenly feeling quite a bit lighter mentally. After the previous night, Shikamaru and Choji had already decided to take a day off of training with Naruto, so it left him to his own devices. As such, it didn't take Naruto very long to go through his morning and get out to the market district to pick up the same 5 daily quests, figuring he'd get them done before meeting his team. Glad you could join us, Naruto, said Kakashi, watching Naruto sprint into the field. Sorry, I'm not late, am I? No, you're right on time, said Kakashi. Phew, that was close, said Naruto, wiping some imaginary sweat from his brow. Anyway, let's get to the mission office and see what's available to us, suggested Kakashi. Naruto was agitated by the mission assigned. They had to catch Tora, the cat that Naruto had expended quite a bit of effort scaring off that morning. It made him really wish the game came with some kind of mini-map feature. Professional quest alert, that was new, yet more, gamer, bullshit to make Naruto's life a little more difficult. Fuinjutsu can do anything, create a new seal to imitate an active mapping utility. Earn level 22 Fuinjutsu, skill and use, discovery. Completion award, 5000 express. Naruto accepted the quest, still not completely sure what discovery was or what it did, but it couldn't hurt him any to work on it, plus it was worth a good chunk of experience. The only downside is that Naruto would have to buy a lot more Fuinjutsu supplies from Higarashi's in addition to putting in a lot of effort toward leveling his Fuinjutsu. Naruto sighed but followed his team on the hunt for Tora. Hours later, and several unpleasant scratches that wouldn't fade, demonic infected scratches. How the hell that cat was a demon, Naruto did not know, understand, or want to understand for that matter. So, next stop is the library, said Kakashi, earning 3 relatively surprised looks from his students. What's at the library? Asked Naruto. You'll just have to wait and see, said Kakashi, his face still buried in the porn book. You'd better not be taking us there to try and get us to start reading your books, snapped Sakura, her eyebrow twitching in clear annoyance. I would never, said Kakashi, mocking being appalled by the suggestion. You would, deadpanned Naruto and Sakura in one voice. Kakashi rolled his one eye and guided the group toward the library. Hitaki-san, I told you not to bring that trash in here, chided the librarian upon seeing the group. Naruto frowned, thinking she was talking about him. But it's a book, protested Kakashi. Aren't all pieces of extraordinary literature welcome in such hallowed halls? Geisha Hotaru is literature. Rurouni Kenshin is literature. Ika Ika is not, nor will ever be considered literature so long as I run this library. Now put it away before I burn it and you with it. Kakashi paled slightly and put his book away. Now, what can I do for you and your team, Hitaki-san? She asked, smiling pleasantly. I'm taking my team to the restricted section, said Kakashi. You're not teaching them jutsu from there, are you? She asked, looking at him rather pointedly. Of course not, said Kakashi. I was told they needed to learn a taijutsu style. It's not really something I specialize in, so here we are. Okay, but I'll be monitoring you and them very closely. Kakashi swallowed heavily. Yes, ma'am. Naruto looked at the byplay between the pair with a fair amount of amusement. Ever since the old man had changed the librarian, Naruto had been able to come in and check out a book here and there, but he was always cautious about it, especially with the old bat behind the counter glaring at him. But now that she was glaring at Kakashi, Sakura, Sasuke, and himself all equally, he was actually very reassured. If any of you damage my books, I damage you, understood? Demanded the old lady, looking at the group. Yes, ma'am, they all chorused immediately. Silently the group moved through the library and up to the 3rd floor. There the group was met by a heavily reinforced door guarded by 4 shinobi, all wearing Anbu masks and all with next to their levels. It was strange too that there were no names, just their animal names. Gecko LV, Wasp LV, Wolf LV, Ox LV. Now, my little ones, behave yourself in here or they will probably kill you and me and then everyone else in the library just to make sure, warned Kakashi. Naruto couldn't tell if he was joking when he said it but nodded his agreement anyway. Kakashi then knocked on the door. A moment later a slat opened in the door at eye level. Password, Gokakyu, replied Kakashi. The slat slammed closed and from behind the door what sounded like gears shifting and moving began. It took a minute before the door finally swung open. Inside were row upon row of books and scrolls, all of them glowing with skill names just waiting to be learned. And once again inside the room were 4 more Anbu, each one looking ready to attack at a moment's notice. "Afternoon," said Kakashi, inclining his head to the Anbu. "Taicho," returned one of them in greeting. "Bear LV." Naruto was curious but let it drop. The last thing he needed to was irritate the Anbu, especially with all of the effort he's been putting into improving his standing in Konoha. "Come along," said Kakashi, walking through the rows without stopping. Naruto followed along but was so very tempted to start picking up scrolls and books and learning the skills in them. After a minute of navigate the rows, Kakashi stopped at the end of one of the rows. "Now, down this aisle you will find all of the various taijutsu styles Konoha has gathered over the years. You are allowed to find one beginner-level taijutsu style you think would work well for you. We will then have a copy made and sent to me to give to you." "I already have the Uchiha Interceptor style," said Sasuke. "Why would I ever want to learn another style?" "And that is your prerogative," said Kakashi. "But you'd be surprised, you might find something else worth learning." Sasuke shrugged and walked forward, glancing at the various scroll, occasionally picking one up and looking it over only to frown and put it back. "How are the styles organized?" "Not sure, you could always go find that librarian again and ask her," Sakura-chan offered Kakashi. "That's okay, I'll figure it out," said Sakura, trying to frantically wave off the suggestion. "I figured as much," said Kakashi. "So what kind of style do you think I should look for?" asked Sakura. "It depends, if you want to specialize in genjutsu, I'd recommend you look for a taijutsu designed to create separation between you and your opponent. If you're looking to specialize in Iryojutsu, look for something that specializes in dodging. Speaking of, have you thought at all about what you'd like to specialize in?" "Not really, Kakashi-sensei," answered Sakura, looking down. "I don't really know what to do." "Well, you'll have to figure it out sooner or later," said Kakashi. "I guess for now look for both scrolls. I'll see if I can pull some strings for you to get both." "What if she'd rather specialize in ninjutsu or taijutsu?" asked Naruto, trying to give Sakura some more options. "Sakura-chan, would either of those interest you?" asked Kakashi. Sakura quickly shook her head in the negative. "Well, there you go," said Kakashi. Sakura started down the aisle herself. "Any advice for me?" asked Naruto. "Nope, you still need to decide your own path as well. Defensive, ninjutsu or even bukijutsu." "Thanks for the help," said Naruto, frowning at his teacher. It was a dilemma that Naruto was still trying to figure out. What was his path going to be? Kakashi just smiled behind his mask and motioned Naruto into the aisle. Naruto started down the aisle, his observe going wild with yellow boxes giving skill names. Finally, one caught Naruto's eye. Beginner Uzuken Taijutsu. Naruto picked up the scroll and declined the learn option, actually opening the scroll to read the initial description. Uzuken is the traditional taijutsu style of the Uzumaki clan. It relies on hit-and-run tactics, attacking from multiple directions and angles causing confusion and disorientation to opponents. Often used with weapons to great effect. Naruto liked this one, he liked this one a lot. Naruto rolled the scroll back up and tucked it under one arm. This would be his first choice of taijutsu styles. He continued his search since he had the time to look now, there may still have been another style he'd like to use. Beginner Nibaken Taijutsu. Nibaken is a taijutsu that uses the principle of chakra sticking to attach yourself to your opponent's body or clothing and deliver devastating elbow and knee strikes. Users will often suffer severe damage in return. It would be a great defensive style, especially since Naruto could take a hit like no one else he'd ever met. Still, he liked Uzuken much more. Naruto tucked that scroll under his arm next to the other and continued looking. He checked a few others before he unexpectedly took a scroll to the head. Naruto glared at the source of the scroll, it was Sasuke. "What the hell was that for?" "That's the style you should learn," he said. Simply, going back to the shelves. Naruto frowned but picked up the scroll in question. Beginner Kajkin Taijutsu. Kajkin relies heavily on the use of Kage Bunshin. Designed to use coordinated strikes between the user and his clones to close on his opponent to inflict damage and evade damage at the same time. Highly effective but very difficult to learn given the chakra burdens of Kage Bunshin. Naruto hated to admit it but Sasuke was right, this was probably the best style for Naruto. With his ability to use crazy amounts of Kage Bunshin he couldn't do much better than this. Naruto looked again at the 3 scrolls in hand, he put the beginner Nibaken Taijutsu scroll back on the shelf and walked with the other two back to Kakashi to ask his opinion. What did you find there, Naruto? Asked Kakashi, interested in the two scrolls in Naruto's hands. Kajkin and Uzuken, he answered. I can't decide which to learn though. Sasuke is right that Kajkin is perfect for me, but Uzuken is my heritage. How can I pick one over the other? So learn both, suggested Kakashi. I don't know if my gamer ability would let me do that. Every time I've learned a new taijutsu level it replaces the previous one. I can see where that would be a problem, said Kakashi, rubbing his chin in thought. On the other hand, you never know until you try. I guess, thanks, no problem, now hand them over, said Kakashi, holding out a hand to Naruto. Naruto placed the two scrolls in his hand. When will the copies be delivered? They will be delivered to us at our training field by the end of practice today, that's assuming Sasuke and Sakura ever pick a scroll or two. As if she heard his complaint, Sakura came up a moment later with a scroll in hand and handed it to Kakashi, smiling the whole way. Beginner Namakuji Haim Taijutsu. Ho, ho, said Kakashi, apparently very approvingly. Tsunade-sama's own taijutsu style. You know that many have tried to master this style but none have ever succeeded, not even her own apprentice. Sakura let doubt flash through her eyes for a moment but steeled her will after a second. I can do it, you even said my chakra control is perfect. I have to do it. So the path of the medic it is then, said Kakashi, clearly trying to confirm Sakura's choice. Well, I figure with the way Naruto is always getting beat up, I can get plenty of practice plus when Sasuke-kun gets his Sharingan he'll be using genjutsu stronger than anything I can make so this would be better for the team, Sakura explained her decision. Very true, said Kakashi, nodding his acceptance. I don't get that beat up, pouted Naruto. Yes you do, said Sasuke, emerging from another aisle. He tossed a scroll to Kakashi. Sasuke, I said taijutsu, said Kakashi, not looking at the scroll after seeing Sasuke come out an aisle that had nothing to do with taijutsu. I know, but I already told you, I have the Uchiha Interceptor style. That will actually help me. Kakashi sighed and looked at the scroll, so did Naruto and Sakura. Beginner Chikudo Kenjutsu, sword skills, asked Sakura, fangirl written all over her face. You're so cool, she all but screamed in fanaticism. I suppose this is close enough to taijutsu for me to allow it, said Kakashi, placing it with the other scrolls he'd collected. You'll have to buy your own sword. I can buy my own weapons, said Sasuke, firm in his decision. You can come with me to Higarashi's after-team session. The old man has the best weapons, offered Naruto. I can take care of myself, said Sasuke, crossing his arms. Dude, it won't kill you to spend some time with me outside of team training and missions. You don't have to be a jerk. I thought I made it clear. I have no interest in becoming friends with any of you, said Sasuke, walking toward the exit. There are days when I really hate him, said Naruto, watching the jerk leave. I'll go with you, said Sakura, speaking up from behind him. I need more kunai and shuriken anyway. Cool, said Naruto. I don't really need anything but I could stand to pick up some more sealing supplies. Well, let's get moving, we've got trees waiting for you and they certainly won't climb themselves, said Kakashi, smiling. You three go ahead and I'll meet you there shortly. I need to go put in the order to get these copied. Kakashi joined the trio at the training field as promised about 20 minutes later. Naruto didn't mind as he had already gained a level in his tree climbing skill by the time Kakashi arrived. Okay, that's enough of that for now, gather round my cute little genin, Kakashi called, seeing Sakura had already exhausted herself. What's up? Asked Naruto, not feeling draining in the slightest. Just a quick update. Once your scrolls arrive we'll break training for the day. I want you three to spend the rest of the day working on the scrolls. You don't have to do it here or even together but I do want you to start familiarizing yourself with them. The reason is that starting tomorrow we'll start sparing using your new style so you can begin to get acclimated. Sasuke, that means in addition to buying a Chikudo for yourself you'll need to buy a Chikudo Boken, explained Kakashi. After sparring for a bit we'll do some more chakra control work. At least until I'm satisfied with your progress. Once I feel you have significantly improved we'll start working on team tactics and simulations. Any questions? No, good, get back to work. Kakashi didn't even give them a chance to question it at the end. Naruto just shrugged in the end and went back to his thoroughly scarred tree and began running up and down it without pausing. It was almost 2 hours later the trio almost stopped as when an unknown kunoichi appeared in the field. The woman handed Kakashi a scroll then vanished within seconds. I'm guessing I won't get any more out of you guys today, so you may as well come down here and get your scrolls, said Kakashi, seeing the eager looks on his students' faces. Naruto charged down his tree, racing to be the first to arrive. Kakashi though made a big long production out of it just for the sake of messing with his students. It was more than a little irritating to the genin. Kakashi finally unsealed the scrolls from the single scroll he was given. He then handed Sasuke and Sakura their scrolls before dragging it out even more. Sakura and Sasuke both went off to their own area of the training field and sat down to start reading their scrolls. Walk with me, Naruto, said Kakashi, twirling the scrolls between his fingers tauntingly. Naruto obeyed without question, his entire focus was on the scrolls Kakashi was teasing him with. Once they had put some distance between the other two genin, Kakashi stopped. So, I've had some time to think about your situation. Naruto reluctantly tore his gaze off the scrolls and focused on Kakashi. Oh yeah, come up with anything. It was a thought, but what if you were to learn one of the scrolls like the Uzuken first? Then tried to learn Kajkin but more to augment the Uzuken. Make a Kage no Uzuken taijutsu style. I don't know, that might work but I just don't know. I've never considered it before. Do you really think that would work? Only one way to find out, said Kakashi, handing Naruto the Uzuken scroll. You've obtained the skill book Beginner Uzuken Taijutsu. Would you like to learn the skill? Naruto tapped the button to accept. You cannot learn the skill. Requires Dex 50. Naruto couldn't help but groan. What is it? Say I need 50 dexterity points. How many do you have? 36, but have some points set aside for just in case things like this. So Naruto opened his status page and added the 14 points to his dex. Then he tried the book again. You've obtained the skill book Beginner Uzuken Taijutsu. Would you like to learn the skill? You've upgraded your skill, Advanced Academy Taijutsu, to Beginner Uzuken Taijutsu. Beginner Uzuken Taijutsu passive LV30 Express, 0.00%. Passively increases STR 10%. Passively increases VIT 10%. Passively increases DEX 20%. And now for the Kajkin, said Kakashi, offering him the scroll. You've obtained the skill book Beginner Kajkin Taijutsu. Would you like to learn the skill? Naruto took a deep breath and tapped the accept button. Warning, this will replace Beginner Uzuken Taijutsu. Do you wish to proceed? Crap, it says it will replace it. That's too bad. I guess you'll have to decide for yourself. Why don't you use the Uzuken for a few days and decide how you like it, suggested Kakashi. For now, just hold on to the other scroll. Naruto nodded and tapped the Decline N button. You've obtained the skill book Beginner Kajkin Taijutsu. Would you like to augment the Beginner Uzuken Taijutsu skill? Naruto's eyes widened, then he shouted. Woo-woo, yada, what? Asked Kakashi, truly curious. After I hit no, another option popped up asking if I wanted to augment Uzuken. There you go then, said Kakashi, smiling through his mask at Naruto. Naruto tapped the accept button. You've upgraded your skill, Beginner Uzuken Taijutsu, to Beginner Kage no Uzuken Taijutsu. Passively increases STR 10%. Passively increases VIT 20%. Passively increases DEX 20%. I take it that worked well then? Asked Kakashi. Hell yeah it did, this is freaking badass. I just need the intermediate scrolls for both styles to upgrade to the next grade, said Naruto. The energy and excitement were practically flowing off of him. I'm glad that worked so well, said Kakashi. Anyway, we'll see what you've got tomorrow when we start sparring. Naruto grinned. For now, go collect your teammates and head for Higarashi's, ordered Kakashi, only to vanish a moment later. Naruto ran back to the field to see only Sakura remained. Where did Sasuke go? He left. Said he had stuff to do, answered Sakura with a shrug. You waited for me. We did say we were going to Higarashi's, right? Yeah, said Naruto, grinning and scratching the back of his head in slight embarrassment. We did, didn't we? He honestly hadn't expected Sakura to wait for him. Afterwards, do you want to go to that training field again? Asked Sakura. I could use the practice. Sure, said Naruto. We just have to be quick about it. I don't particularly want to be hunting rats in the dark. Sakura shivered slightly. Yeah, let's get a move on. Naruto and Sakura hurried through shopping at Higarashi's and got to the training field to clear it out. It went much faster this time than the first time they had come. Still, it got Sakura another much-needed level. You have slept in your bed. HP and CP are fully restored. Naruto opened his eyes and looked at the message, then closed it and rolled over to try to sleep more, this time just for the sake of. He quickly discovered it wasn't going to happen. Naruto got out of bed after lounging for a while before accepting it was boring and not worth it. Naruto decided he was hungry and made himself a few cup ramen. So there he was, sitting on his beat-up couch, eating with absolutely no idea what he was going to do on his self-appointed day off. Usually by now he would have cleared a training field, or done his daily quests or started training his skills. With his ramen devoured, Naruto grabbed one of his game console controllers and flipped the machine on. But after about 5 minutes of play he felt somewhat disgusted with himself. It wasn't fun anymore. I was dull and slow-paced and just, not fun anymore. Naruto turned the game off and gave a look out his window. It was sunny out, a really nice day to go out. Naruto stood and stretched before walking toward his bathroom. 10 minutes later he left with a giant frown on his face. His damn toilet finally broke completely. The damned seat finally busted off entirely and now the damn thing wouldn't flush, and considering what he left in there it was not a good thing. Naruto dressed and left his apartment, walking down the stairs to his landlord's apartment where he knocked on the door. "I'm coming," called a voice from the other side of the door. When it opened the landlord glared at him. "Oh, it's you, what do you want?" "My toilet is broken," replied Naruto, not sure what the man would do. "And that's my problem. Why?" "You're the landlord," said Naruto as if it was obvious. "So," he replied shortly. "So it's your responsibility to fix it and everything else in my apartment that's broken," Naruto nearly shouted at the man. "Ha, you seem to think you live in some major luxury apartment complex where they have maintenance staff. In case you haven't noticed, this is what's known as a slum. That means crap gets run down and broken and never fixed unless the people that live here are stupid enough to try and fix it themselves. In a few years, this place will become such a shithole that some rich shinobi or merchant will buy the building from me cheap, evict all the residents, take the building down and build some new luxury place until it runs down and becomes a slum, and the process repeats over and over again. So what the fuck am I supposed to do about the fucking toilet?" "Fix it yourself," said man, slamming the door shut in Naruto's face. Life quest alert. Flushed down the drain. Fix your toilet. Learn home repair and maintenance skill and use it to fix your toilet. Completion award 1000 EXP. 1 month of free rent. Increase reputation with landlord. Completion failure 100 express. 1 month of double rent. Unlivable apartment. Eviction. Decrease reputation with landlord. Naruto groaned in irritation. This was supposed to be a day off, damn it. But this was something that had to be done, and sooner rather than later. It also meant he'd have to go to Konoha General Store, a place he was still hated, which meant the price for part would be jacked up on him. Naruto trudged through town to the general store, the blue, hovering over the clerk's head just begging to be accepted. "Ah, good, you're here again to kill them rats," said the clerk. "Ah, I actually needed to buy some stuff," said Naruto. "If you ain't here for the rats then get out," said the man, pointing toward the front door. "If I kill the rats, will you let me buy some stuff when I'm done?" asked Naruto. The clerk sneered. "I'll tell you what, you kill the rats, and I'll let you buy some stuff, but just this once. And don't you dare try to abuse my generosity, you little punk." Daily quest alert 0/5. Rats again. Eliminate the chakra rat nest in the basement storeroom. Kill 40 feet chakra rats, and 2 feet king chakra rat. Completion award. Increase reputation with Konoha General Store. 12-hour shopping pass for Konoha General Store. Completion failure. Decrease reputation with Konoha General Store. So no money, but the shopping pass was what he really needed, so it was worth it just this once, even if it was double the number of rats from usual. Daily quest accepted 1/5. Naruto went into the basement and slaughtered the little bastards. It took a few hours because it was a whole lot of rats to kill and very little experience for his troubles. Thankfully he didn't get bit this time, which was actually kind of awesome. Naruto turned in the quest and got his pass, which gave him a status buff, 12-hour shopping pass, only valid in Konoha General Store. "You got any books on home repair?" asked Naruto. The clerk eyed him for a minute. "Aisle 9, he answered, pointing down the line from where they were. It didn't take long for Naruto locate the aisle in question. There were actually quite a few books on home repair and maintenance. Naruto grabbed the book Beginner Home Repair and Maintenance and put it in his basket. Then he grabbed the toilet repair, door repair, sink repair, and cabinet repair. He really wanted to get the books for stove repair and refrigerator repair, but they both required intermediate skill level. There were a lot more that interested him, but for now this would be enough to do some much needed repairs around his home. Naruto went and bought the books. They were only 500 ryo each and took them home. Naruto burned the beginner book first, which gave him the life skill. Home Repair and Maintenance Active LV1 Express, 0.00 CP, 5. Every man should know how to fix the things around home that break. It's amazing how much can be done with just a hammer and nails. Additional 10% to Home Repair and Maintenance speed when active. He then burned the other 4 books, which didn't get him any recipes like he expected, but instead increased his level by 1 per book. Knowledge in hand, Naruto went into the bathroom to fix the toilet only to get a warning message. Cannot use Home Repair and Maintenance. Requires basic toolkit. Naruto wanted very badly to bang his head against the wall. He should have known better. Of course he'd need tools he didn't own and would now have to go buy. Thankfully, he still had the shopping pass status buff. Naruto re-entered the store, and despite the glare from the clerk, he allowed Naruto to shop. I need a basic toolkit, he said to the clerk. Aisle 1, the man growled. Naruto walked down the aisle looking at the various toolkits available. He had no idea what was basic and what wasn't. Then he saw it, Home Repair and Maintenance Basic Toolkit, all the necessities to complete any home repair that does not require a specialized tool. Naruto sighed in relief when the observer told him as much about the toolkit. It really was perfect. As Naruto walked back to the front to pay for his stuff, another thought struck him. He'd need parts to fix the broken stuff at home. So Naruto started to explore, aisle by aisle, looking for the stuff he'd need. He found the toilet supplies first and felt even more lost than before. There were toilet seats galore, oval and round, padded and unpadded, wood, plastic, or porcelain, and then there were also some heated seats. Who needed a heated toilet seat? Naruto grabbed a round wooden seat that was about the right size for his toilet. Then he had to get the parts for the inside of the toilet to make it flush. He decided for that he would get all new guts just to be on the safe side. Then he found he could actually replace the whole toilet, but it was just a bit too expensive, so the parts would be enough. Next, Naruto found the bathroom sink fixtures just down the aisle from the toilet stuff. He grabbed a basic faucet with white handles to replace the one in the bathroom that looked almost exactly the same. After that, Naruto has to search for door handles and locks. He figured if he was going to mess with one door, he may as well fix all of his doors. And last, he got the necessary cabinet hardware to fix the hinges and handles. He couldn't really afford to do more than that. When Naruto put it on the counter, the clerk naturally sneered at him, not that he expected different so long as he was considered hated by the shop still. Naruto watched as the price kept going up and his wallet felt thinner and thinner. This was not favorable for him. 27,050 ryo later, Naruto felt completely beaten for the day. He'd end up having to do the daily quests anyway just to keep himself out of the poor house. Naruto finally got home a few hours later. He did his daily quests despite not really wanting to. After that, he set about repairing his home. It was totally worth it in the end. Status: Name: Uzumaki Naruto. Class: The Gamer. Title: Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level: LV18 next level, 56.09%. Affiliation: Konoha. HP: 2718 2718. CP: 2508 2508. STR: 3620.60 equals 56.60. VIT: 3952.80 equals 91.80. Dex: 5027.00 equals 77.00. Int: 5416.50 equals 70.50. WIS: 4011.80 equals 51.80. Luck: Def: 11228.00 equals 140.00. SPD: 1039.30 equals 49.30. Status: Uzumaki +10 Vit, +10 Int, +50% experience to Fuinjutsu. Skill: Kyuubi Jinchuriki, +100 HP and +100 CP per level. Prankster, -5% reputation gains, +5% experience to Trap. Skill: +5% experience to Stealth. Skill: Uzumaki Naruto is the dead last of this year's graduating class, rating so low because of his inability to create a basic bunshin. Naruto proved his worth after the test when he stopped a traitor and learned 2A rank Genjutsu. And finally he has gotten some answers to his past, but still mystery remains. Who is his father? How did the Kyuubi escape? Point 2. Ryo, 4000, Beginner Kage no Uzukan Taijutsu, Passive LV30 Express, 0.00%. Uzukan is the traditional taijutsu style of the Uzumaki clan. It relies on hit-and-run tactics, attacking from multiple directions and angles, causing confusion and disorientation to opponents. Often used with weapons to great effect. Kajkin relies heavily on the use of Kage Bunshin, designed to use coordinated strikes between the user and his clones to close on his opponent to inflict damage and evade damage at the same time. Highly effective but very difficult to learn given the chakra burdens of Kage Bunshin. The combination of the two styles has created something new and very dangerous for anyone stupid enough to face a master of such a style. Requires Intermediate Kajkin Taijutsu and Intermediate Uzukan Taijutsu to upgrade. Passively increases STR 10%. Passively increases VIT 20%. Passively increases DEX 20%. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu active LV12 Express, 16.41% CP, 1/2 total CP. Kage Bunshin are corporeal copies capable of everything you are, include fighting, using jutsu and learning new things. The first Kage Bunshin will reduce your CP by 1/2 and each additional Kage Bunshins thereafter will reduce the Kage Bunshin's CP by 1/2. For example, if you have CP 2000, one Kage Bunshin will have CP 1000, but 100 Kage Bunshin will have CP 10. Kage Bunshin will dispel with one solid hit or when they run out of chakra. If they die by being hit, the unused CP will return to your CP pool. Passively increases chances for a Kage Bunshin to survive a direct hit by 1%. Home Repair and Maintenance active LV12 Express, 0.00 CP, 5. Every man should know how to fix the things around home that break. It's amazing how much can be done with just a hammer and nails. Additional 15% to Home Repair and Maintenance speed when active. You have slept in your bed. HP and CP are fully restored. Naruto was once again awake and unable to sleep any longer, this time on Sunday, and as a result was very quickly bored out of his skull. It was nice to relax, but he'd gotten so used to doing something to occupy his hours that doing nothing was more exhausting. It was not good. Fuck it, grumbled Naruto. He was out the door a few minutes later. He started in the market district going through the monotonous daily quests, making a little money and even less experience. Happily, Naruto ran into Choji and Shikamaru coming out of Yakiniku Q. "Hey guys," greeted Naruto, just finishing up his last daily quest. "Couldn't resist, huh?" asked Shikamaru. "Nope, I'm just not made for sitting still. Especially when this game is my life." Choji chuckled. "Could be worse. Anyway, want to hit up a few training fields, grind some experience?" Naruto looked at Choji funny. "Have you been playing video games?" Choji grinned. "Yeah, a little. I got one of those old systems from when we first started at the academy. It's been fun." "Yeah, I tried to sit back and play some yesterday. Didn't go so well. I almost wanted to pull my hair out." "So you interested?" asked Shikamaru. Naruto grinned and wordlessly formed a team and invited them to join it. "So starting at 11? asked Choji. "Sure," said Naruto. "It should be reset by now. I took Sakura-chan again a few days ago, so we should be good." "Awesome," said Choji. "Let's roll." "You can roll, personally I'm going to run," joked Naruto, earning a snort of laughter from Shikamaru. "Let's just go already," said Shikamaru, leaping up to the nearest rooftop. The small team arrived in the field and were quickly attacked by rats as expected. What was not expected was so many rats to be attacking at once. "What is going on? There are twice as many rats as usual," asked Naruto, slicing another rat in half. "No idea, but this is going to become troublesome if they keep coming at this pace," said Shikamaru, his shadow grabbing 3 rats and strangling them all quickly before tossing them aside. Choji was mega stomping rats left and right and quickly draining chakra points in the process. We're going to get overwhelmed. Did you put this on hard mode or something? No, I wouldn't even know how to do that, let alone know if it's even possible, complained Naruto, raining down kunai and shuriken on another wave of rats that was just emerging, wiping out nearly half of them instantly and damaging the rest. Well, something is different, said Shikamaru. The sound of 3 girls shrieking a moment later caught all of the boys' attention. Shit, that's why, said Naruto. We need to regroup with the girls and work together. The difficulty increased because there are more of us in the zone. Troublesome, Choji, use Nikuden Sensha to open a path for us. Naruto, lay down heavy kunai and shuriken on either side of him to buy us some more time, ordered Shikamaru. Choji immediately turned into a ball of spinning death, plowing through dozens of rats charging toward the 3 girls that came into the field. Choji came out of his spin just before the group of girls. Ino, Hinata, Sakura, down now, shouted Naruto, leaping as high as he could, then spraying the ground all around them with hundreds of kunai and shuriken, buying all of them some time to regroup. Naruto, what the hell is with the rats? There are so many this time. It's because there are so many of us here. Speaking of, why are the 3 of you here? Shikamaru answered and queried. I came to train, said Sakura, giving Ino the stink eye. I thought, Forehead here was up to no good, so I followed her, stated Ino. Stuttered Hinata, panicking slightly. Troublesome, said Shikamaru. Fine, you're here now, so focus, follow my orders exactly and do what you're told when you're told, or we're all going to end up really hurt here. Why should I? Ino, now is not the time, snapped Shikamaru, stabbing a king chakra rat then barbecuing it with a blast of fire. These things will kill us. Ino paled. It was unusual for Shikamaru to yell at anyone, let alone yell at her. It made her suddenly realize the danger of the situation they were in. How many more waves, Naruto? Asked Choji. He was starting to run low on chakra. 6 or 7, I lost count when we moved to the girls, he said, spawning clones to assist. Hinata, get up to the front line with Naruto and Choji. Ino, when Hinata knocks a rat down, finish it. Sakura, you've been here before, so I expect you know what to do here. I want you to provide range support, and if you know any first aid, help out where you can, ordered Shikamaru. Hinata ran up to stand between Naruto and Choji and began rapidly striking the rats, knocking them down stunned. Ino hesitated, killing them at first until one popped up and bit her. After that she was merciless, stabbing rats left and right. Okay, the abomination should be here soon, said Shikamaru as the flow of rats slowed down significantly. Chakra Rat Abomination LV20. HP, 2500 2500 CP, 1000 The rare abomination, a chakra-mutated creature so far gone it has taken to eating its own kind. They are often drawn out when their food source is threatened. This is bad, said Naruto. It's quite a bit stronger than the ones we usually face. This is going to get bloody. Choji, I'll act as the shield, I can take more hits and damage than you or anyone else here. Just make sure you kill this ugly fuck fast. You got it, Naruto, said Choji, jumping back to Shikamaru's side. Okay, we need to give Naruto some time to piss it off. Use this time to bandage any wounds or take any antidotes you might have on you, ordered Shikamaru, pulling out a small vial from his hip pouch and quickly gulping it down, while Choji did the same. I have extras, said Sakura, offering one to both Ino and Hinata. I didn't get bitten, stuttered Hinata. But thank you, Sakura-san. Thanks, Forehead, said Ino, taking one and gulping it down. Sakura nodded and gulped one down herself. Sakura, can you bandage my arm? Asked Choji, showing her a gash that was bleeding freely. Sakura pulled a roll of bandages from her pouch and wrapped Choji's arm up as quickly as she could before tying it off. You're good to go. Thanks, said Choji. Meanwhile, Naruto was doing everything in his power to piss of the abomination. You kiss your mother with that mouth. Or did you eat her too? Okay, Choji, shoulder ram it, ordered Shikamaru. Naruto, give us any explosive tags you've got while it's dazed. Naruto leapt back to the group, handed them a stack of tags, then jumped right back to Abomination, jabbing a kunai into one of its eyes, causing it to howl in pain. Hinata, Ino, while Naruto keeps it distracted, I need you to help out with placing these tags on it. Hinata, can you disable its legs? Called Naruto, dodging another wild swing from the beast and jabbing another kunai into its shoulder only to get smacked to the ground by its tail. Naruto winced in pain but rolled back away from the rat and back up to his feet. He threw a handful of shuriken at it, buying him only a few seconds before it was on him again. Naruto blocked a hammering fist above his head from the rat, causing his knees to buckle slightly. This rat wasn't playing nice today. Hinata ran in, chakra blazing off her hands as she struck hard at the rat's legs and knees. She danced around it and over its tail, rapidly striking at the beast as she moved. She was fearless in that moment and it was awesome. "All right, Hinata," shouted Naruto, grinning at the time and space it bought him. With the rat's movement stopped, they were able to separate from it and catch their breath a bit. It didn't last long as the rat once again charged after Naruto. "Kage Bunshin no Jutsu," shouted Naruto, spawning as many clones as he could with the limited chakra he had left at that point. The clones tackled the rat back. "Now," shouted Shikamaru, signaling everyone to start tagging the rat with explosive notes while Naruto held the abomination to the ground. Shikamaru heard the popping first, signaling some of the clones were dispersing. 5 seconds. It was the longest 5 seconds Shikamaru ever experienced. "Get clear now, Katsu," shouted Naruto, channeling chakra through his clones into the explosive tags. The ground shook with the detonation. "He's still not down," said Naruto, panting. "Choji, toss Naruto up over it." "I'll try to hold it," ordered Shikamaru, focusing as hard as he could to hold its shadow. Even if it was weakened, it was still strong as hell. Choji sprinted to Naruto. As soon as he got to him, he enlarged his hands. Naruto stepped up onto the hands and was soon rocketed skyward. Naruto dropped fast, angling himself head first at the beast that Shikamaru was straining to hold. He pulled a kunai into each hand and put them ahead of himself so they would impact the beast first. Naruto pushed the little chakra he had left into the blades, trying to make them stronger. Naruto hit the beast and his kunai cut into the abomination like a hot knife through butter. Naruto's arms buried up to his elbows in the beast's chest. Naruto pushed himself out and stumbled away. The rat heaved one more labored breath before going completely still, its hit points completely drained. Naruto sat back on his ass heavily breathing. He stopped, gasping for breath for a moment. "That was awesome, right? You're almost dead and you think that was awesome," said Shikamaru, sitting down next to Naruto, also exhausted. "A special skill has been created through a special act. Flowing chakra into your weapon to make them stronger. Chakra Nagashi, LV1 has been created." "What the hell was that thing?" demanded Ino. "Why the fuck would you fight it? Why the fuck did I stay and fight it?" "That, Buddha, was a chakra rat abomination and a really nasty one," answered Sakura. "We fought it to get stronger. You stayed to fight because your team needed you to." Ino frowned at Sakura momentarily. "You've fought it before, never one that strong," replied Sakura. "Shikamaru, you said it was stronger because there were more us." "How is that possible? It can naturally sense chakra," he answered. "The abominations eat the little ones to get stronger. The little ones try to eat us because we have chakra. We killed so many of the little ones the big guy sensed it. But again, why so big this time? We killed more of the little ones than we ever have before, that's why." Sakura frowned but decided to accept it for now. Naruto sat quiet, noticing that everyone there but him gained a level for all of that effort. Hell, Hinata gained 2 levels. While he sat at 95.66% of his level. A measly 3.44% until level 19. It just wasn't fair. Granted, he was quite a bit higher level-wise than his companions, but still it wasn't fair after all of that. Naruto finally stood back up to inspect what the fat asshole dropped. 6,000 Ryo, Irio, Keidokuzai no Jutsu, skill scroll. Naruto picked up the scroll and tossed it to Sakura. "What's this?" she asked, confused. "It must have eaten that scroll at some point. Isn't that an antidote jutsu?" Sakura's eyes widened, then looked again quickly at the scroll. "Oh my Kami, it is. Anyone object to Sakura getting that after she was nice enough to share her antidotes with us?" asked Shikamaru. "Why should Forehead get it?" demanded Ino. "Oh chill Buddha, you can borrow once I've learned it," said Sakura, smiling happily. "I'm fine with it," stuttered Hinata. "But I would also like to see it when you're done." "Of course, Hinata," said Sakura, still smiling happily. "Thank you," she replied softly, almost inaudibly. "So, that leaves the rest of us with 1,000 Ryo apiece," said Naruto, doling out a stack of cash. "That thing had money?" questioned Ino loudly. Naruto, Shikamaru, Choji, and Sakura all shrug. Must have eaten someone with it at some point, said Naruto. Come to mama, said Ino, grabbing for the money. Naruto held her share out to her and she greedily took it. Guess I'm getting those new shoes sooner than planned, she said to herself, happily counting the bills. Or you could spend the money on some better armor, groused Shikamaru, earning him a glare for his trouble. Okay, so who's up for a little hunting now? Asked Naruto, bouncing back to his feet, his HP and CP fully restored. How can you be ready for more after that? Asked Sakura in disbelief. That wasn't so bad, said Naruto. If you want to see bad, you should check out Training Field 13 sometime. That is bad. What's on Field 13? Asked Ino. Spiders, chakra spiders to be exact, and the queen spider is a real bitch too, said Naruto, shuddering for a moment. So where do you hunt? What do you hunt for that matter? Asked Sakura. Training Field 12, we can get ham and mushrooms, answered Choji, drooling slightly. Ham, he drawled out in a long, desirous voice. Ino twitched. Ham, as in pigs? She asked. Boars actually, said Naruto, standing a fair distance away from the platinum blonde. I see, said Ino. Sakura though giggled a little. Then she laughed outright. Ino stood stiffly, then walked away from the field, trying to maintain even a little dignity and failing miserably when she tripped over divot in the ground. So, hunting? Asked Naruto, grinning happily. I'm done, said Shikamaru. That was almost too much for today. I think I'm going to go cloud watching for the rest of today. Okay, Shika, see you, said Naruto cheerfully. I'm out too, said Choji. I would, but I really want to study this scroll, said Sakura, hugging her new technique scroll. How about you, Hinata? Asked Naruto, smiling in as friendly a manner as he could. Hinata though turned bright red and fainted. Not again, groaned Naruto. I'll get her home, said Sakura, trying to withhold a giggle of amusement. You go have fun hunting. Yeah, sure, I'll go keep myself busy elsewhere, said Naruto. He didn't really want to try hunting by himself, it just wasn't as fun, and he didn't want to repeat any of the other fields, so off to Ichiraku's it was. You have slept in your bed. HP and CP are fully restored. Naruto awoke feeling refreshed the next morning. While his peaceful relaxing weekend plan may have gone to crap, he was only too happy for all that he accomplished. Bouncing out of bed, he started off his morning as usual, hygiene and breakfast followed by his daily quests, something he rushed through to get done to make it to his team meeting on time. The team met at their usual spot on one of the small bridges not too far from the Hokage's tower. Sasuke was sharpening the blade of his sword. Sakura was buried in a medical text with the scroll she got the previous day sitting next to her, partially unraveled. Yo, greeted Naruto, mimicking Kakashi's normal greeting. HN, grunted Sasuke, barely glancing at him. Morning, Naruto, greeted Sakura, also barely looking at him. She was really into her text. Naruto sat down with his teammates to wait on their sensei. The man arrived within a few minutes, so it wasn't a very long wait. Yo, greeted Kakashi, causing Naruto to giggle a little while the other two just rolled their eyes. Anyway, let's go get a mission. Naruto followed along, a bored look on his face. These D-rank missions were pure monotony. Today they ended up chopping firewood for a farmer on the outskirts of town. The only major upside was Naruto gaining a level at the end of the mission. Congratulations, your level has increased by 1. Naruto ended up smiling the rest of the day after that, regardless of Sasuke dominating him in their taijutsu spar yet again. The guy was fast as hell and seemed to be able to counter anything Naruto threw at him. However, when Naruto did manage to hit him, it was totally worth the pain he suffered to make it happen. After they all sparred for a while, it was back to tree climbing. A standard routine, even after just 2 weeks as a team. It was long and exhausting and very uninteresting. Still, it gave Naruto the time he needed to improve all his skills. Naruto returned to the academy training field after the day's team activities ended. He had bonus points to earn. It didn't actually take very long to achieve the points either, he'd really got the hang of it by now. But that left him looking at his stats again. He had way more dexterity than strength, and with the way Sasuke was able to speed around him, he needed to increase his speed, and to do that he needed to balance his strength some with his dexterity. With that in mind, Naruto dumped all 7 points he had left over into his strength. Having plenty of daylight left to burn, Naruto stopped in at Higarashi's. Hello, Naruto, greeted Hidden, seeing Naruto enter his shop. What's up, old man? Returned Naruto, smiling at the old man. Same old, what can I do for you today? Just browsing, got done early today so, here I am, answered Naruto, shrugging. You ever make any storage scrolls with those supplies you bought? Not yet, why? Well, if you ever have any to spare, I'll buy them from you if they are good enough. My last supplier of storage scrolls died in a fuinjutsu accident and none of my other suppliers can keep up with the demand. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. He was suddenly very thankful for his gamer skill making accidents like that nearly impossible. So, how much are we talking about here? 500 ryo per grade 1 scroll, more for the higher grade stuff. Done, said Naruto. I'll make some up for you, no problem. Great, replied Hidden. Now, anything else I can get you? More supplies then. I'll take 100 blank scrolls and 50 bottles of ink, said Naruto. That's a lot of scrolls, said Hidden. So, I'll use them all, said Naruto, still grinning. I'll be right back then, said Hidden. The man moved into the back of his shop. Naruto could hear the sound of boxes being moved and shifted from the back room. He took a little time to explore some of the weapons on display. They were all very nice but not really his style. He also noted none of them were made with chakra-conductive metal according to his observed skill. Here you go brat, said Hidden, setting 2 large boxes on the counter. Hey, I noticed you don't have any chakra-conductive weapons out here, do you have them somewhere else? Yep, answered Hidden, suddenly cold to Naruto. Can I see them? Nope, why not? I like you kid, but I don't like you that much. Those weapons are extremely expensive and even more valuable. Maybe if you prove yourself a bit more, someday I might consider letting you take a look at the reserve stock. Understood. Naruto nodded. That had to mean he needed to be at a higher reputation with the shop than he currently was. Naruto then stacked his 2 boxes and carried them home. Once home he sat down and started making storage scroll grade 1 in bulk. He had 140 blank scrolls to place Fuin on and he'd be damned if he didn't get it done. What Naruto didn't expect was for it to take 15 minutes to make just 1 scroll. After 3 hours he had made only 12 scrolls and it was already past midnight. Okay, so this might take a few days, groused Naruto. Stepping away from the table he was using to write the fuinjutsu on. He yawned and stretched before turning and heading to bed. You have slept in your bed. HP and CP are fully restored. Another week in the books and a steadily growing stack of grade 1 storage scrolls covered Naruto's kitchen table. The good news was that he was almost done, 140 scrolls. The bad news, he'd been so focused on it that he'd foregone most of his other training. Still, it was worth a lot of money. If Naruto pushed he would finish them all today being Sunday. So after a shower and a quick breakfast, Naruto sat at his table and pulled up one of his last 22 scrolls. It would take exactly 8 hours to make them all. Even better, it would be close to enough to gain level 20 in fuinjutsu. Okay, let's do this, said Naruto, starting his first scroll of the day. Hours later Naruto finished scroll number 17 when he received a system announcement. Through hard work and diligence your fuinjutsu professional skills level has increased by 1. Learned recipe, discovery. Discovery can be used once every 3 days to create a new fuinjutsu recipe within your ability level. Naruto grinned. He couldn't help it, this was awesome. He opened his skills menu to review it when he saw something that made him frown. He'd level capped fuinjutsu. Then it occurred to him that it must have been the beginner level he'd capped and now he needs the intermediate. Fuinjutsu active LV max CP, 20. A professional skill allowing you to create seals that can be used to improve your gear, make explosives or just seal stuff away for later. Naruto's frown only lasted a moment before deciding to finish the last few scrolls and sell them before paying a visit to the really old man, some people would call Hokage. 70,000 ryo, here I come baby, cheered Naruto, stacking all the now completed scrolls into 2 large boxes. Status. Name. Uzumaki Naruto. Class. The Gamer. Title. Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level. LV19 next level. 36.12%. Affiliation. Konoha. HP. 2830 2830ths. CP. 2619 2619ths. STR. 4421.40 equals 65.40. VIT, 40 53.00 equals 83.00. Dex, 51 27.20 equals 78.20. Int, 55 16.88 equals 71.88. Wis, 41 12.51 equals 53.51. Luck, Def, 112 28.00 equals 140.00. SPD, 10 43.70 equals 53.70. Status, Uzumaki plus 10 vit, plus 10 int, plus 50% experience to Fuinjutsu skill Kyuubi Jinchuriki, plus 100 HP and plus 100 CP per level prankster minus 5% reputation gains, plus 5% experience to trap skill, plus 5% experience to stealth skill. Uzumaki Naruto is the dead last of this year's graduating class, rating so low because of his inability to create a basic bunshin. Naruto proved his worth after the test when he stopped a traitor and learned 2A ranked Genjutsu. And finally he has gotten some answers to his past, but still mystery remains. Who is his father? How did the Kyuubi escape? Point. 0. Ryo, 86,500. Name, Uchiha Sasuke. Title, Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level, LV19 next level, 88.11%. Affiliation, Konoha. HP, 720/720ths. CP, 740/740ths. STR, 47. VIT, 72. Dex, 89. Int, 74. Wis, 46. Luck, 1. Status, Unawakened Sharingan plus 2 Dex and plus 3 Int and plus 1 Wis per level Avenger plus 25% to all stats when attacking Uchiha Itachi. Firebug minus 15% cost to Kaden Jutsu, plus 10 damage to Kaden Jutsu. Uchiha Sasuke is the last loyal surviving member of the infamous Uchiha clan. Well known for their Dujutsu the Sharingan, which has allowed them to excel as shinobi in the field. His past is clouded by the pain and misery of losing his family so much that vengeance is all that remains to him. Name, Haruno Sakura. Title, Genin plus 10 increase to experience gain. Level, LV14 next level, 1.01%. Affiliation, Konoha. HP, 410/410ths. CP, 338/338ths. STR, 20. VIT, 45. Dex, 30. Int, 140. Wis, 205. Luck, 8. Status, Perfect Control plus 15 Wis per level, minus 50% cost to all Jutsu. Fangirl, minus 25% decrease to experience gain, minus 50% decrease to bonus stat gain. Book Smart plus 10 int per level, minus 75% CP, plus 25% increase to skill experience. Haruno Sakura is the smartest student in class. Though very intelligent, she is not very physically gifted. She pines after Uchiha Sasuke and is bitter rivals with Yamanaka Ino for Sasuke-kun's affections.